Time to ride. Woo! America first, y'all. America first. Let's get it. I see you, Survival. Keats, AC, Footloose, Nick, Joanne, the family, people that I can't see right now. Salute. America first. What is up, everybody? What is going on? Welcome back to the Real Greg Kelly Show. Boy, I got a bomb burner for you tonight. I mean, a straight up bomb burner. We got Angry Snowman, who's going to be in the house as we dive into Fascism in America Part 2. This is going to be epic. This right here is some of the most incriminating information that you will ever hear directly sent through the airways of YouTube. And the beauty of it, America, is that they're not banning this material, which means they're not aware, which is beautiful. Flying under the radar, stinging like a hornet is what we're doing right here. We're going to look back at this. Not just this stream, but the many streams that have come from people that are associated with this body of people. And we're going to remember that in our own way, we fought the good fight. that we were in the game. We were not on the sidelines inactive. We were not caught flat-footed. We did not fail to do our American duty and fight for our freedom. And that, again, is just epic. Let me check in with my brother here. Make sure everything's going on. Give me a thumbs up if we're good over there. Tell me what you got. Oh, everything's good? Okay. Y'all already know that I have the snowman. The snowman is in the building. And we're going to have a great time. I want to acknowledge everybody in the chat. If I can see the chat. There's the chat. Some of y'all got some really creative names. I mean, holy schmoly. Some of you guys have some really interesting names. Bog Hag. C-Files is in the building. Keeks is with us. Sugar Baby 1010. Y'all know that's my heart. My sister Nick. Joanne. I see you, sis. Thanks for being here. Ice cold air conditioning. Ice cold AC is in the building. What is up? Survival is with us. Forge and Thought. It is so good to have you here, brother. Hopefully you'll just say, you know what? I'm going to jump up here with these brothers. Let me know if you're interested. You will definitely get the link. I haven't seen Feta yet, but I know he's coming. Shout out to Breaking Fetters. Let me see. That's about it. And that's cool. But again, welcome everybody. Welcome. I'm not showing my face just yet. Again, I got to make sure my brother is, A-OK. But let me go ahead and set the stage for what we're going to do tonight. Fascism in America, part 2. We actually took a little quick dive into Mussolini, Benito Mussolini, back in the early 1900s, and how he shaped fascism. Now we're going to take a look at the brother that made fascism a reality, none other than Adolf Hitler. And just to recap what we've already covered in part 1 about fascism, we addressed the fact that fascism advocates for strong central government and that it exerts control. It wants to exert control over every aspect of society, including finance, education, transportation, energy, and the economy. They believe in centralized power, and more commonly, it's known as one-party politics, or a system of government that has one leader and they're supported by a hierarchy of officials and military force. I mean, we're witnessing this take place, unfold, unravel, so to speak, right in this country. And we have to get in front of it, because if we don't, we're going to end up, a lot of us are going to end up like many of those poor Slavs, Jews, as well as Germans, in gas chambers. I mean, I don't want anybody to make any mistake about it. That's the end game. Absolute power, total control, us having nothing and being excited about it. And God forbid we start to speak out. I mean, they'll go nuts, and we'll see some of the most atrocious behavior from government ever seen before, because there's way more technology. There's way more means of punishing people and silencing people than there's ever been before in the history of our country. That's sad, but that's true. One party politics, 1 year or 2 years now of one party politics. And look where we are as a country. Just take a look. Look at where we are. Look at what's happening. That one party leader who's a dictator, and that hierarchy of officials is running rampant. And as much as they love to call us MAGA maniacs violent, they use violence and intimidation to achieve all of their goals. We'll never forget the Summer of Love. We will never forget the riots that took place in this country. We will never forget that. I don't want anybody to ever forget what happened here and why it happened. Don't ever forget. Add that to the events that you'll never forget. I think, when we talk about 9/11, we talk about Pearl Harbor, we can't remember where we were doing Pearl Harbor because we weren't here. Maybe some of us were, but we weren't. But I remember what happened on 9/11. I remember where I was. I remember exactly what I was doing. January 6th, the summer of love. Oh, January 6th was the most devastating thing that's ever happened to our democracy. And I guess people have just forgotten the billions of dollars in community damages where these Antifa and Black Lives Matter riots took place. Don't ever forget. Ever. Because if you forget that, when you see it again, you may be duped into thinking that these are peaceful protests. Don't let it happen. Again, they believe in the use of violence. The rise of fascism in Europe led to World War II. So I wonder what the rise of fascism in 2022, what will that generate? What catastrophic world-shaping and world-changing events will come out of this if we don't get in front of it and stand up as freedom-loving people and stand up as Americans? I want everybody to understand. Johnny Wishbone is in the house. What's going on? Garrett, good to see you. I wonder what comes out of this. Isn't it amazing how every time a Democrat leader gets into office, we have war? Every single time. Never fails. War is big business for these people. And this is just how they get down. But something big is going to come down the pipe. They committed horrific atrocities in World War II against millions of people. And in the aftermath of fascism, it declined and they kind of went underground, but it has definitely resurfaced. The propaganda machine is working and clicking on all cylinders. Do not be deceived. We've been talking about our children being under attack. Please guard the ears and the eyes of your children because they're very vulnerable to misinformation. We cannot allow them to listen to CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS. We can't allow. Don't play this crap in your home. I mean, as long as the kids aren't around. Don't bring this poison in your house. Whatever you do, don't do it because they're lying through their teeth, their nose, their eyelashes are lying. Every time one of them bats their eyes, they're just waving up or whipping up another lie. I mean, this is prolific lying. I've never seen anything like this on this scale before, ever. I'm going to go ahead and get my main man in the mix. Let him share a few comments before we get into the material. Everybody, welcome to Snowman. Yours truly, the Snowman.
The white boy is back, and you know he could never be like the white.
Bro, I don't think I have ever seen anything like that before, brother. I was in tears. I was like, I can't hear you. Did you I can't? This brother is crazy, man. Are you there? I don't have any sound for you. Let me see what we got going on here. I knew we were going to have a little issue here, but anyway, welcome to the show, man. And yeah, thanks for being here and sharing in this with me, sharing in this with the family. Snowman's going to get his sound right. I still don't hear you, brother. I have no idea why I don't hear you.
It's coming through a minute.
Oh, there we go.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, we in the business.
Now we in the business.
Loud and clear.
Awesome. I had the wrong button push, man. My 2-year-old loves coming in here and pushing all the buttons on my soundboard.
I know all about it. Yeah, I know all about it.
So, it's like the memory game of which one did she push this time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's just a small piece of that intro, dude, that I gave you. The whole thing's like 45-second long, and SKC did that for me, dude. He did all the graphics, and then I was going to throw like a Slipknot song in it, and then I was listening to some Whitey Ford one day, and that the white boy is back came on. I was like, dude, that's perfect. So perfect. 45 seconds. Dude, it's even got that Bell Biv DeVoe beat to it and everything,
Yeah, man.
you know, so and
Like,
it triggers everybody, so why not?
yeah, it's like I could just imagine, people looking like, did he just say that?
Yes,
Like
he did.
playing it back 10 times. Is he saying the white boy is back?
The white boy is back.
I was like, yo, he is so crazy. Shout out to Brooke. I see Brooke is in the house. Hey sis, what's going on? Sydney, good to see you.
Looks like we got a good crowd, man. Good crowd.
Yeah, this should be fun, man. This right here should be fun.
So you were talking about a little bit, man, about what's coming this time. You know that we were told that we would see the rise of the Fourth Reich in our lifetime, right?
Yes.
You know, so I think it's pretty safe to say that that's what we're seeing come to life right now, is the Fourth Reich.
Yes. And a lot of people don't really understand that really the Reich was a term that was born out of the Roman Empire.
Yes, it sure was.
And, so there's a lot of information out there that will point to the Fourth Rome being this country. The only problem is that Americans, we don't expect this type of behavior. We don't expect this type of climate. That's why it's so imperative that we look into it together and see what's happening so we're not misled. Because listen, the frogs in the damn pot with the temperature being turned up slowly is exactly what happened in Germany. It's exactly what happened in Russia. It's exactly what happened in China. We can't let it happen here.
No,
we can't let it happen here. Like, we have to say something. We have to get involved. If we don't get involved, and I'm talking on the local level, listen, I encourage everybody to know what's happening in your local government. All right. This is not rhetoric. This is, you need to know this. You need to know who's in office. You need to know who's trying to get in office. And you need to know what their voting record is. All of this information is public record.
You should know that before you know who the Kardashians are and what new outfit Cardi B's wearing or pushing. Or, this pop culture stuff narrative that everybody's on. You need to let that go and actually pay attention to what's going on at home, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why our communities are falling apart anyhow, because nobody's paying attention to what's going on at home. And look, this stuff went so far and it's went unchecked for so long that it's not just a federal thing now. It is literally broken down into our communities, and it's our fault. We allowed it to happen. We became complacent. We bought into if you don't question the government if you claim to be patriotic. Yes, you do question the government, and we need to question the government. We should be standing and holding their feet to the flames every time they say something. Every time
they say something, it should be cross-referenced with their actions. There should be, a high level of attention being paid to exactly what these people. I mean, we've seen this play 1,000 times. The Democrats making all of these glorious promises, especially to minority groups, and then do nothing when they get in power. That right there is a sign of fascism. The last guy that came into office that actually made good on his promises was the Trumpster. He didn't get it all right.
Yeah, I was going to say, even some of the stuff he did could be brought to question, and believe me, I voted for the guy, and I think I held his feet to the flames more than anyone. I was constantly criticizing him. Constantly. You know?
Right.
But that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Look, let's be real, folks. He brought up the Summer of Love. For the first time in my lifetime, I watched an entire summer, 365 days, not just a summer, a spring, a winter, a fall, of nothing but chaos, devastation, destruction, just outright madness. There were communist little camps popping up all over the country. There was literally a chop in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. at one time. There are a lot of things that went on that a lot of people seem to forget and hope that you forget. Look, all that stuff was going on. We had all these left-wing lunatics, storming the Supreme Court building when they were trying to bring in who was it, Kavanaugh, for a Supreme Court justice. Yeah. You could literally hear people beating on the door and screaming outside the hearing while it was being televised on CNBC. You could hear it through the damn news corporation, not from the people that was filming outside. You could hear it in the damn room, in the chamber where they were having the hearing. And our leaders, and specifically Kamala Harris, straight up said, this is what peaceful protest looks like. This is what revolution looks like. And we were supposed to just be okay with that. But, you know, January 6th was it was the worst atrocity that ever freaking happened in America. It was the worst thing ever since Pearl Harbor and ever since freaking the Civil War, you know. Come on,
man.
Are you guys really going to buy that narrative? Are you going to continue to let other? Are you really going to let other people buy that narrative? If that was really an insurrection, not a near one of them people in that building would have left that building unless it was in a body bag that day. That would have been an insurrection. And not to mention, that is the people's capital to begin with. People like Forging Thought. People like, did you serve? Brother Kelly, you served, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, people like brother Kelly here. They went to war. They took an oath to protect that. They protect that for us. That is our capital, the people's capital, the people's house. We have the right to go in there anytime we want for whatever the hell we want. That is our house, our building. And they're doing our business in there.
It's my house. It's our house.
It is, man. That's why I could never understand them saying, you know, that people, you know, just stormed the Capitol and broke in without being. How do you break into what you own?
Unbelievable language. Unbelievable language.
But
democracy almost died. Don't forget. But you know, the people that did die. You know, we had a couple of officers that died from some medical issues. But the only person that died as a result of a quote unquote insurrection was Ashley Babbitt, and the guy that shot her, he's free,
right?
A free man, like no justice, and not to mention our brothers and sisters that are in the gulag with no justice, right? This is why we're doing a video like this tonight to show you this is where it's headed. Okay, before we go any further, I have to do this. I want to give the snowman a round of applause. Oops, wrong button. Spoke nothing but facts. Nothing but facts.
And let's be real, January 6th is the day democracy should have died.
Absolutely. It should have been buried. And that's controversial for some. But when you know your Constitution, you would know that the founding fathers did everything they could to keep us as far away from democracy as possible. This Constitution is anti-democratic.
Absolutely. The only thing democratic about this nation is the way we elect our officials, and that is it. That was supposed to be the only thing. That's why there were 3 branches of government in the federal government, and then there were 3 branches of government in the state government, and then 3 branches of government in the local government. Imagine that. 3 separate governments with 3 branches of government.
So no power could be consolidated.
Right.
They were genius. They were genius. And we have to resurrect the genius gene, because what we're seeing, these people are idiots. They are ignorant morons, but yet intelligent in how they, you know, execute their scheme. But they have no concept of what freedom is. I'm going to take that back. They do. They just don't like it because it doesn't give them absolute power. It doesn't give them power.
They don't want to see you have it.
Right.
Well, look, dude, it's like this. You remember that movie A Bug's Life?
Yes, I do.
And you remember that scene with the crickets in there, right? I forget the head cricket's name, but they had just got done leaving the anthill, and they were mad because they didn't have their donation for the grasshoppers like they were supposed to. So they, you know, the head grasshopper told him that when he comes back, it better be doubled, or he was right. And when they got back to the bar, the one grasshopper, his little, you know, second in command minion looked at him. Yeah, Hopper, thank you. His minion looked at him and said, Hopper, why does it matter? We don't need their food. Why do you want to go back and take double now? He said, go back here. He said, you see that bottle over there? Go back there a minute. It's like, okay. He said, now reach over there and grab one of them seeds out of that thing. And he reached over and grabbed one, and he's like, that ain't that heavy. It doesn't hurt, does it? No. He said, reach over and grab you another one. He's like, and he grabbed him another one. He said, what about that? Is that heavy? Does that bother you? No. Then Hopper walks back there and he pulls the damn cork off, and every single one of them seeds come out and dump on top of him. He said, but that hurt, didn't it? That stopped you in your tracks, didn't it? The day those ants realize that there's more of them than there are of us is the day we're screwed.
Yeah.
And we lose.
Yep.
And see, that's what that's what these people are. They've actually made a science. They've been doing this so long that they're experts at getting us to forget that there's more of us than them, because they got us all fighting on our own little separate level, separate playing field, our own personal war that we're fighting against someone else over. That's why this country's so divided right now. I mean, they literally picked everything you could think of and have the entire nation fighting about something. Mm-hmm. And if the nation's fighting, then they're winning. And see, that's the thing, man. I remember I heard everybody when talking about, a civil war. We need a civil war. No, we don't need a civil war. If there's going to be any war in this country, you need a revolution. Because civil war means that we're fighting against each other. I'm fighting him, and he's fighting you, and she's fighting her. We're fighting each other. But if there's a revolution in this country, then we have all got our eyes affixed. Our gaze is all on the same enemy.
And we've come together. See, there's no revolution if the people are divided. They know what they're doing. So, listen, we're about to get into this. Just a quick refresher from part one. We were talking about the information being broadcasted over mainstream media and how the element of truth doesn't support the things that they claim. We're going to actually see this in motion. And, what they really want to accomplish with propaganda is the manipulation of the emotions of the subjects that they want to control, which happens to be us. And in other countries, it happens to be human beings, again, because they think we're the useful idiots. We're not. They are. And as the brother just stated, we're the majority. And our laws are written to empower us to empower them, not them empower us, because they'll never share their power, ever. So what we're gonna ask ourselves a question, and that question is going to be answered. And the question is, why do they desire to control the people? And there's really not one answer to the question. It's many answers. And it also varies depending on the society that, this communist group is trying to overthrow. But we're going to find out exactly why they want to control the people. Period. And in their form of control that we're going to look at, because this guy Hitler, he executed the plan exactly the way Benito Mussolini wrote it up. But Mussolini wasn't as good at it. He wasn't as good of a liar. He actually had a heart. He was a terrible dictator. But Hitler took the term dictatorship or tyrannical leader, and he became the embodiment of it. Absolutely the embodiment of it. And we're talking strict social control over every aspect of the lives of the people that were under his rule. And this is exactly what fascism requires, that you submit, you obey the authority figures, and, we're going to use propaganda as our means of communication, because they're trying to create the bridge between what they want and what you want. If they can excommunicate us from the idea that we're individuals, but yet a collective and not property of the state, they lose. But if they can get us to believe what they're telling us and agree with their philosophies and agendas, then no matter what they do, we're going to show loyalty to the party or to the state and not loyalty to each other. And that's what they want. They want that more than anything, because if we end up on our knees bowing down to the will of the government, at that very point right there, we are no longer free. No longer free. Let's jump into this. You got closing remarks before we jump in. You go ahead and say what you got to say.
I was just going to say, you make a really good point, because the other day I was talking to somebody, and, the 13th Amendment, everybody thinks it's such a great, great amendment, and it's slavery, right? Said that It specifically says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall have or shall exist within the United States or any other place subject to their jurisdiction. You know, that's a great thing, right? Wonderful. Says the people can't own people, which I'm pretty sure the Constitution already, took care of that before that. But you want to know what was ironic about the 13th Amendment? Because it also says in there, nor involuntary servitude except as punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted. So for the first time in American history, slavery is actually written into the Constitution now. Think about that for a second. And
I've seen the the free labor workers on the side of the road with the officers with them big damn 12 gauge shotguns, pretty much cracking the whip and making tons of money for the state. Free labor.
My point being with that is they started after the Bill of Rights, and they started adding to the Constitution with every new amendment they put in. The more you read into them, the more of our freedom you see that they took away, the more of our sovereignty they took away, the more of your state's rights they took from us and made you more beholden onto the federal government. Then once the 1900s rolled in, and specifically around 1919, 1920, around that area, that's when they started bringing in the USC, the United States Code. And the United States Code has actually taken precedent over the Constitution, whereas the Constitution, as far as the federal government is concerned, doesn't even matter anymore because the United States Code is the Constitution to them now. And the United States Code violates everything the Constitution stands for.
Now y'all know why I got the brother up here doing the co-hosting. Now you know. The brother Sharp. And I intend to learn a lot. I intend to continue to talk with you about the issues that I think we're both concerned about. Again, everybody, we're about to jump in. This is the Real Greg Kelly Show. We're about to jump right into the mix of this right here, man. This is going to be an epic show. Sit back and relax. Enjoy this. This is the beginning of fascism in America, part 2. Part 2. Let's take off.
So then I think it's natural to ask, what do they mean by making the country great? And fascists tended to leave that answer pretty vague. Here's Mussolini saying, the nation is great when it translates into reality the force of its spirit. So this is a Hegelian idea. The idea that history is marked by stages, and those stages are defined by the human spirit. And going to Hegel now, spirit is the director of the events of the world's history. So spirit directs the world's history and drives it forward. So Italian fascists aspired to use the force of the Italian people to make an impact on the history of the world. If they did that, they would be translating into reality the force of the Italian spirit, which was supposed to make history, which was supposed to make Italy great and the Italian people great. To understand exactly how to do that, again, Italian fascists looked to Hegel, who Mussolini called the philosopher of the state. Hegel argued that in the history of the world, the only people that get noticed are the people that form a state, and that the state is the embodiment of the human spirit. It's the external manifestation of the will of people. So therefore, changes in the stages of world history are attached to the concept of the state. And if you haven't noticed, I have to edit Hegel a bit to make his writing clearer, because read as is, it's not. So anyway, so Hegel argued that you need a strong state in order to manifest the will of the people and embody the spirit of the nation and to drive history forward. So then you might ask, what makes a state powerful?
I think we have a timing issue. I'm going to change this. I'm actually going to do this again and see if that fixes itself, because clearly there was a mix up there. Let me try this again. That was retarded. I didn't like that.
So then I think it's natural to ask, what do they mean by making the country great? And fascists tended to leave that answer pretty vague. Here's Mussolini saying, the nation is great when it translates into reality the force of its spirit. So this is a Hegelian idea. The idea that history is marked by stages, and those stages are defined by the human spirit. And going to Hegel now, spirit is the director of the events of the world's history. So spirit directs the world's history and drives it forward. So Italian fascists aspired to use the force of the Italian people to make an impact on the history of the world. If they did that, they would be translating into reality the force of the Italian spirit, which was supposed to make history, which was supposed to make Italy great and the Italian people great. To understand exactly how to do that, again, Italian fascists looked to Hegel, who Mussolini called the philosopher of the state. Hegel argued that in the history of the world, the only people that get noticed are the people that form a state, and that the state is the embodiment of the human spirit. It's the external manifestation of the will of people. So therefore, changes in the stages of world history are attached to the concept of the state. And if you haven't noticed, I have to edit Hegel a bit to make his writing clearer, because read as is, it's not. So anyway, so Hegel argued that you need a strong state in order to manifest the will of the people and embody the spirit of the nation and to drive history forward. So then you might ask, what makes a state powerful? And here's Hegel's answer. A state is well constituted and internally powerful when the private interest of its citizens is one with the common interest of the state. So if the citizens and the state have identical interests, that makes the state powerful, which Hegel calls a desired harmony. He then says, the epoch, when a state attains this harmonious condition, marks the period of its bloom, its virtue, its vigor, and its prosperity. So according to this philosophy, the goal is to create a unity of interests between individuals and the state, so there's no conflict between individuals and the state. And if there is a conflict, then the state wins. As Hegel put it, this unified state as an ultimate end possesses the highest right in relation to individuals, whose highest duty is to be members of the state. So Italian fascists were directly inspired by that philosophy. They saw the state as a means to their end of making the nation great, and thought that individuals should be subordinated to the needs of the state. What those needs were determined by fascists, since it was a fascist state. So here's them saying that. The foundation of fascism, and by the way, the capital F here means Italian fascism, is the conception of the state, its character, its duty, and its aim. Fascism conceives of the state as an absolute, in comparison with which all individuals or groups are relative, only to be conceived of in their relation to the state. What we're seeing here is a justification for totalitarianism, having a powerful state with absolute right over the individual, a powerful state that subordinates the individual to it. So totalitarianism was a word that Italian fascists openly used. Look at how Mussolini talked about the rise of Nazi Germany in relation to Italy. Here is another great country in the process of creating a unitary, authoritarian, totalitarian state, i.e., a fascist one. Okay, so fascists wanted to unite the people using the myth of the nation. And then once the fascist movement came into power, they wanted to create a unitary, totalitarian state, a state with absolute power over its citizens with no political opposition. And then from there, They wanted to assert the spirit of their people on the world stage and therefore make history. Both Italy and Germany thought that process would create a new, glorious civilization, which Italy referred to as the Third Rome and Germany referred to as the Third Reich. That being said, Italian fascism is often referred to as hollow. Italy had the language of fascism, but the execution wasn't really there. As one Italian historian put it, fascist Italy was something of a police state, but of an idiosyncratic kind, one where tyranny was tangled with compromise. And then later saying, for all its proclaimed totalitarianism, fascist Italy was soon shown to be unable to fully mobilize its civilians or its ordinary soldiers, numbers of whom were unconvinced that their identities sprang from Italian nationality. Okay, so the Italian people didn't buy into fascism very heavily, and Mussolini was something of an impotent dictator. But we still have some loose ends here. Namely, what exactly do fascists do once they get into power? What exactly are their policies? And again, in a nutshell, the answer is whatever they thought would bring about the greatness of the nation. One thing Italian fascists were consistent about, in both theory and in practice, was their attitude about violence and war, which again took inspiration from George Sorel. They saw violence as a legitimate political expression and extensively used violence on their way into power, which is something they shared with German fascists. They also glorified war. They saw war as something that would bind a country together, an attitude largely shaped by their experiences in World War I. They were also expansionist. They saw the expansion of the nation as an expression of vitality and strength, which led them to go around conquering weaker countries, notably Ethiopia and Libya, much to the detriment of the people living there. In terms of economic policy, Italy took a hybrid approach. Mussolini theorized about something that he called a corporate state, which was supposed to create a synthesis between liberalism and socialism. Or in other words, he wanted to create an alliance between capital and labor under fascist rule, which Italian fascists claimed abolished class conflict in Italy. Although how exactly that worked was far from clear. Regardless, it didn't do the Italian economy any favors. And while Mussolini was in power, Italy's economic growth fell further behind the powerful countries of Europe. On that note, there's been something of an ongoing war of categorization when it comes to fascism in that regard. People that are sympathetic to socialism try to push our understanding of fascism towards capitalism, and vice versa. People that are sympathetic to capitalism try to push fascism towards socialism. I think neither side ends up being very convincing because both sides are only partially looking at the subject. It's true that fascists campaigned on socialist language and with socialist policies, but it's also true that fascism came out of capitalist economies. But the idea that fascism can only come out of capitalism, I think, comes from a partisan mindset. Moreover, once fascists came into office, they pursued hybrid economic policies. They weren't cleanly capitalistic and they weren't cleanly socialistic. They had elements of both. So, for example, they might nationalize certain industries and implement a certain amount of welfare, but then also cozy up to big businesses and allow them a high degree of autonomy. So I think this aspect of fascism is sort of a conceptual cul-de-sac. I don't think it's an illuminating way to be able to categorize fascism. If anything, I think they were categorized by pragmatism. So they weren't dogmatic. Once they came into office, they pursued the policies they thought they needed to pursue to make the economy work. I think in particular that was true for Germany. So on that note, I think it's time to turn our attention away from Italy and towards Germany.
Okay, so the video malfunction. Y'all see I'm over here trying to stuff my face. I ain't eating nothing all day. The video malfunctions, but whoa! If you can see any similarities to everything that was just said to what's going on here, put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1.
1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1.
Man, I'm gonna start with you, Snowman. I mean, look, he laid it out. This is what the economic plan is. This is what the social confinement plan is. We're going to manipulate the people. We're going to destroy the economy. We're going to take absolute control. And we're seeing it now. I mean, we're watching it play out. I mean, we're seeing. What did you hear? I mean, what? Give me something.
Well, what's interesting, man? I jotted a couple things down. He mentioned something about that fascism. Its ultimate goal is totalitarianism, which means a one world rule, a one world government, everybody all under the same umbrella. And if you think about it, being that he's talking about during Italy and during when Benito Mussolini was around, when Hitler was around, when Stalin was around, three of the major tyrants of the era. It was after that conflict. Isn't that when NATO came into play?
Yes. Yes.
And wasn't it not long after that the UN came into play?
Absolutely. Expansion.
So it sounds to me like we've been living under a fascist umbrella for quite some time now.
Absolutely.
And it was given to us under the guise of, world cooperation.
Smart. Yeah.
And then the other thing that I picked up on was he was talking about capitalism. Capitalists will say that, that socialism is fascist, or socialists will say capitalism is fascist. Well, my question is do we really live in a capitalist society? And if we do, is capitalism what our founders really intended on? Because myself, I was always taught that this nation was supposed to be a free trade country. And free trade is totally different than capitalism. To me, capitalism is nothing more than giving a new name to monopolizing industry.
Yes, exactly. And we see that also. I mean, a lot of people don't think about what happens to the local, store owner, the mom and pop shop every time somebody brings, a Walmart to their little small town. I mean, the small guy just can't compete with Wally World. I mean, you save a couple of dollars here on, your basic needs, but you run out of your community, the people that have been, the revenue generators in that community, and you give it away to big business, to corporate businesses who are clearly in bed with the federal government.
Well, and then you look at the year of the Fauci flu, and dude, 50 million small businesses in this country were lost over that. 50 million that will never come back. Never, ever. And small business was the lifeblood of the middle class, a blue collar America. That was the lifeblood. And I honestly believe that was done specifically for that reason, to eliminate business owners, to eliminate people that didn't work for other people, that were, self-employed, had their own stuff going on, were independent of all the things that most people rely on. You get rid of those. Dude, I just found it interesting. We're going to shut down all these little mom and pop stores that are selling the exact same thing that Walmart, Target, Meijer, Costco, and everyone else is selling.
Amazon took, it was the biggest transfer of wealth to ever take place in this country, ever. And they use medical tyranny to pull it off.
And the sun's going to explode before that's ever paid back.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And what's really interesting is that, they use fear as a tactic, but the people of America, a lot of people, they didn't say, like, we cannot obey anyone that implements restrictions on our speech or our right to protect ourselves from our families or our right to choose what we're going to put in our body. Like, we can't submit to that. And so many people just committed to it and be submitted to it. And they didn't realize, listen, this is the suspension of our constitutional right. This is our right. That is medical tyranny.
Let's lay it out like this: constitutionally protected rights, because the Constitution grants no rights; it protects all our rights.
Indeed, I 100% agree, man. And just to think, how these guys have so masterfully developed the plan over, we're talking the span of maybe 150 years. And now when you turn the page, what you see is, like you just said, like, man, like, we've been under, a fascist, communist / progressive, governing system for a very long time. And, let's touch NATO really quick, because that's very important. And it's vital to understand that NATO is America expanding democracy. That's what NATO is. And just like, Ryan said, Ryan Chapman is the man's name that, gave us this powerful documentary. What he said is that's part of their philosophy. They believe that expansion is something that, reveals the credibility of a nation and its military power. And it seeks to conquer smaller countries. And we're just going to set up democracies here. No, what happens is these people in NATO, United Nations, and these globalists, they go in and they rape the people of their resources. They take the natural resources, they suppress the people, they transfer the wealth from the people to the state, and they make they make the people slaves or possessions of the state. And they believe that was the blueprint and the recipe for a strong government. And it's tyrannical. We don't live that way here. We don't want to take the knee to a government that won't honor our Constitution.
But I'm going to pose this question. Is it something that's only been going on for the last 150 years? Or is this something that the very same lineage, the same bloodline of people have been pulling on the world for the last tens of thousands of years, over and over and over and over and over again?
Well, yeah, I said that earlier. In part one, is that it's those old failures, political failures of old, and you're right, they span beyond 150 years. Speaking of just the terms that they use, is what I was saying. The term fascist and communism, but the agenda has been global dominance. I mean, we can go all the way back to the Egyptian dynasties. They wanted to take over the world. You go all the way back to the Babylonian and Medo-Persian dynasties. They wanted to take over the world. They wanted to have the world under their rule. I mean, you're exactly right.
Dude, and you want to know what's crazy is about, I want to say 7 years ago, before all this, where we are now, where we see this playing out, I was sitting and I was having a discussion with my father-in-law, and we were talking about, World War II and all that stuff and this, that, and the other. And, this was right when, Antifa was really out, just raising all kinds of hell and this, that, and the other. And, just doing all kinds of crazy nonsense. And I looked at him and I said, you know what? I've literally had an epiphany in the last few weeks. And he's like, what's that? I was like, I honestly think that communist or Nazi Germany was nothing more than a test run, is what it was. What they did is they had this man, because America funded a lot of what went on over there. Our government literally had their fingers in everything that was going on. Yes. And the thing is I wonder if they didn't have that man go over there and just go full ham to see how much the people would be able to take before they would break, or if they would submit or fight back. And they found out that doing it Hitler style was just a little too much, because that caused not just the people of that nation to rise up, but the entire world to rise up. And we don't need that, because I find it interesting that after the war was over, after it was all said and done, the smoke cleared, and this, that, and the third, all of the Nazi political analysts, all their military strategists, all of their propaganda strategists, all their scientists, all their, all the heads of everything, they all came over here under asylum to America to work for our government. And then they slowly started implementing the same thing here. And rather than rather than do it in a span of 10 years, like they did with Hitler, they span this over 80, 90 years, multiple generations. That way you got young kids that are looking at their grandpa saying, Grandpa, is this how it's supposed to be? Well, that's how it was when I was a kid. So, I'm, and a little kid's not going to question his grandpa.
Right. Right. And it gave him the opportunity to penetrate, the institutions of our country. I just think it's absurd. And I know this happens anytime, an opposing country wins a war. You take from that country what you want. But like they took mad scientists. We're talking mad virologists. Mad virologists.
Right.
I mean, they took, Germany's most wicked minds and brought them here and employed them.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. And that's why I say it was by design. I think when Germany fell, the people that want power so bad, they looked at each other and said, you know what? We can do this again. And we're going to target the strongest, mightiest, most prosperous country in the world. We can do this. And they hired, it's unbelievable to me, our federal government hired the world's greatest war criminals. These guys created, they did, brother, what they did to those people in Germany is unthinkable. Like, we don't really understand how brutal this form of government is. But we read about it. But like, how do you fathom putting 1,000 people in a gas chamber, killing them, digging a ditch and just throwing their bodies in it and leaving it unburied? And just keep adding people to it and keep digging the trench longer and deeper.
Hey, dude, our government did the same thing 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Think about it.
They
just dug a trench and started dumping bodies in it and then moved Earth right over top of it. Right off the coast of New York. We watched them do it live on TV.
Yes, we did.
I mean, think about that, because you know what? There's another dynamic of that was going on. Most of the people that died in 2020, they were all people that were part of the greatest generation. The silent generation. They were 70, 80, 90-year-old, they were the boomers' parents.
Yeah, the boomers' parents. Correct.
They were the last generation to have pensions and real retirements. I personally think that's why it was done, because they didn't expect them to live this long. Mm-hmm. And all these companies that were still paying these pensions didn't have it no more to pay off.
Brother, you on fire right now. Dude, you on fire right now. That now, and again, what you just said, what you just so eloquently put together for us here, is actually written in the Communist Manifesto, man. They get rid of the old, the weak, the feeble, the lame, the sick. They say it. They're useless. And they tell you they don't want to pay for health care for these older people. They tell you they're not trying to pay pensions and keep these people alive. We're trying to get rid of them. And that was one of the weapons, used against us 19 and 20 and 21. What you just said is a fact. Let's get rid of those people. That's going to free up a bunch of money for us.
Yep.
More money for us to put in our own pockets. And now it's sinister. It is really sick. Now you wait, because this next clip really goes in. They want us to be slaves of the state. This is what they want. They want Americans to be slaves, man.
We already are.
They want to take it even further.
Well, I mean, we're already debt slaves from the time we start sucking air.
Start sucking air, no doubt. But they want to see us suffer. It's twisted, despicable, evil, but true.
And remember, folks, like Neo said, or like Morpheus said to Neo in the Matrix, all I can do is show you the truth. It's up to you whether or not you want to accept it.
Indeed. Let's move to clip 2. Slaves of the state. And again, this is the end game. They want us to be slaves of the state. You are watching the Real Greg Kelly Show with my co-host, the Angry Snowman. Thank everybody for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me too, by the way, man. I'm loving it, dude. Loving it.
We'll talk about that in a little bit, because I got a few things I want to say about how we ended up here. But part 2, you guys, slaves of the state. Hopefully this one does not malfunction. I believe, servants and slaves of the state.
Let's do it.
The major contribution of Nazi Germany to the subject of fascism, I believe, is that they showed the world what fascism looks like when it, quote unquote, works. Unlike Mussolini, Hitler was largely able to bridge the gap between fascist rhetoric and reality. He was able to make fascism come alive in Germany. Before Hitler came into power, Germany was suffering from hyperinflation and was being economically and militarily constrained by the Treaty of Versailles. Hitler believed that the German people needed confidence in their ability to break out of these constraints and rise up again. And he believed that the only way to achieve that was through mass politics. As he wrote, "What will raise the German people up again is confidence in the possibility of regaining its freedom. And this conviction can only be the final product of the same feeling in millions of individuals." German fascists had their own set of influences, like Nietzsche's idea of will to power and Francis Galton's social Darwinism. So that was a source of difference between the two fascisms. Another source of difference, I believe, can be understood through this quote in Mein Kampf: "The psyche of the great masses is not receptive to anything that is half-hearted and weak." The Nazis ended up actually embodying that. They embodied a full commitment to their ideology, and they meticulously crafted an image of maximal strength. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Like Mussolini, Hitler was an avid nationalist, so he fashioned a Nazi doctrine around populism and nationalism. As he wrote, "For me, and all true National Socialists, who are Nazis, there is but one doctrine: people and fatherland." So Hitler explicitly set out to nationalize the masses. And this wasn't a weak nationalism. This was a strong nationalism with a fighting spirit. And this was all for the purpose of changing the quote-unquote destiny of Germany, to lift Germany out of its troubles and to make it great again, to bring on the new, glorious Third Reich. So like Italian fascists, Hitler's plan was to nationalize the masses. And also like Italian fascists, Hitler framed his nationalism as something mystical, something you can feel deep inside you. The way Hitler put it was that nationality isn't just a language, but rather, it's something that lays in your blood. So the Nazis described this quote-unquote German blood as a kind of living thing that thinks a certain way and behaves a certain way. And within that, it was the role of Germans to get in touch with it and conform to it. As a high-ranking Nazi explained, individuals are to be subordinated to the greater idea of the people. So when Nazis are referring to the people, they're not referring to just everyone living within the territory of the Reich, but rather only those who, within this mass, profess loyalty to their German blood and to a duty to their Germanness, which means that the people, in the eyes of Nazis, were those who had subordinated and professed their loyalty to the idea of thinking with their German blood. So they wanted to create a community of psychically homogeneous creatures, as Hitler put it, that again, like Italian fascists, would be directed by a state. And again, like Italian fascists, for the Nazis, nationalism was an overriding principle. Whatever they thought would make the nation great, for them, was the correct course of action. Here's Hitler essentially saying that. So this is right after saying, for the Nazis, there's one doctrine: people and fatherland. What we must fight for is to safeguard the existence and reproduction of our race and our people, the sustenance of our children and the purity of our blood, the freedom and independence of the fatherland, so that our people may mature for the fulfillment of the mission allotted it by the creator of the universe. Every thought and every idea, every doctrine and all knowledge must serve this purpose, and everything must be examined from this point of view and used or rejected according to its utility. So Hitler does plug his Catholicism here, but in practice for Hitler, nationalism was his overriding principle. If his Catholic principles conflicted with his nationalist principles, the nationalist principles won.
That is very interesting. And we see that division of the people. So when they say the people, when we say the people, we're not talking about all of the people. We got Fetters with us. What's up, brother?
What's going on, fellas?
Look at that. That's a face only a mother could love. What's up, my guy?
Indeed. How you doing, brother?
Oh, you know.
I need
Chop
to
it.
switch headphones because these ones I can't hear myself in them. I gotta switch headphones. I'll be right. I'm gonna go off cam real quick.
All right, brother. So yeah, we're hearing that language right now from Joe Biden calling people that support Donald Trump, we're MAGA maniacs and the ultra MAGA extremist, a divisive, tactic, of course.
That was wild too.
But wasn't it the craziest shit? Lord forgive me.
Dude, he looked like Emperor Palpatine standing there trying to give a speech, dude. I swear to God.
He did. And he didn't hold it back. I mean, he called us pretty much, radical, domestic terrorists.
Well, look, the one thing that he pointed out at the very beginning of that second clip was them hyperinflating the economy. And look, yet again, where are we right now? Our economy and our money is so hyperinflated right now that the paper money you use to buy stuff ain't even, dude. It ain't even worth nothing. It ain't worth shit.
What are you talking about? Inflated? Gas was only $7 a gallon a month ago.
Yeah, that's cheap.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Who thought?
Living the dream.
Right.
Didn't you hear it's the biggest break in taxes and it's the biggest drop in gas prices in so long, and it's the most jobs gained back by the economy ever.
Absolutely. That's what the propaganda machine will tell you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know what? And dude, there's something else. He said the Germanness. You know what that reminded me of when I heard that? When them talking about, my Germanness is folks in the community saying I put my blackness first. I think about my blackness or my gender identity first, or political correctness comes first.
My pronouns.
It's
Right.
it's identity politics, and I mean it's playing a major role. Oh, we got guests, we got AC, we got survival. Welcome to the stream, fellas.
Oh man, you brought stupid up here.
Don't say that, Snowman.
Who we talking about?
He's talking about me.
Oh Lord.
How much have you drank tonight, Survival?
I probably had about 5 beers, dude.
That ain't bad.
You better sip on them at this point.
I am now. I am. I'm not going to be a jackass, dude. I'm not going to be a jackass to anybody here at all.
I make no guarantees on my behalf. I'm drinking my homebrew tonight.
Ain't it pretty crazy that I already know him? He's up on the panel. Yeah, how much he's got a buzz.
Snowman, dude. I've known you for a long time, dude. When you and I pitch shit back, we've streamed together. Dude. I get it. We're at that point. And yeah, salute to Greg Kelly. It's been a really long time since I've been on your panel. And
I'm glad I met the dude, man. It's crazy that it's just crazy, dude. Crazy.
We're gonna make some things happen. That's what we're gonna do.
Joe Rogan?
No, I mean,
I'm
of the belief now that there's certain people that are being brought together for a reason.
I agree.
We have a word. We have a message and a lot of knowledge that we need to get out to as many people as we possibly can, and we got to come together to do that. And we are working on that, and we're gonna make it happen. It's not about money. It's not about any of that. It's about getting the word out.
it is. You know what I saw? Who did I interrupt? Sorry.
No, go ahead, brother.
I really saw from about 2015 through 2019, 2020 almost, a big camaraderie of some brotherly love and like family type of community type of love on YouTube and a lot of different channels. And then when the election thing happened, it was like everything kind of, I don't know, people got pissed. It just everything got stirred up. So I think I like what you guys are doing, and I think
a lot of that stir up is all artificial, man. And that's the thing is I didn't realize it was how artificial it was until the first time I went on a national to anything that was national level. I was at the 2016 Republican National Convention in Cleveland, Ohio. Survival knows this. I don't know if the rest of you guys do, but I know you guys all remember hearing during the 2016 Republican National Convention when Trump was being nominated for the first time about the 10 armed men from the militia that were walking around Cleveland, because that's what that's all. That was me, dude. It sure was. It sure was, dude. I was all over the news, bro. All over. First time ever, dude. And see, the thing is that is a real eye opener when something like that happens. Okay, because one, you start seeing how the media lies, twists, and bends the narrative, how they portray and take your words, and they don't care if they're misquoting you. They will misquote you anyhow, just to spin something.
Oh yeah.
And then the second thing that I watched play out in real time was them literally trying to start a riot in Cleveland. Literally, they tried to start one just by arranging specific rallies and protests to happen at the exact same time that would conflict with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they literally had, at one point we were there, they had Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and the Westboro Baptist Church all down by the Staples Center protesting at the same time, and it almost started a riot.
But Snowman, you bring up a good point, because a lot of most people think about what Donald Trump said in 2017 after Charlottesville. Most people do not realize that he condemned neo-Nazis and white supremacists.
Great people on both sides.
Yeah, he condemned them. Most people, and at the time, I will say this now, actually believe the mainstream media when they said he said find people on both sides. I thought he was talking about. That's my idiocy at the time, because I was in that mindset.
I think he called him repugnant, didn't
he? Yes, he did.
Yeah, they played the first 10 seconds of the clip and not the rest of it.
Exactly, Forging.
Censorship.
Picking and choosing, man. They'll take, if you do a written interview, they will take words out of your paragraph to make a one sentence statement. And because you said those words, they can actually claim that it's a real thing.
Dude, do you realize how many times they've taken pictures that the media took of us down in Cleveland and used those all over social media and newspapers across the country? Those pictures of us, and said that we were Proud Boys this week somewhere, or we were neo-Nazis this week somewhere. I mean, literally pictures of us and playing it off. People believed that shit was real. And like I said, you don't realize just how much of this is really fake. It's propagandized. It's all made up propaganda until you are the one that they're using.
Check this out. Yeah. We responded to a medical. One of the situations that happened with me, we were responding to a medical up in Portland. We got a phone call that somebody had gotten stabbed. Ain't nobody got stabbed. It was a fake phone call. But during that shit, we had a bunch of people come on our truck and do some stupid shit. They got footage of a guy with a whole bunch of tattoos and red suspenders knocking out one of these little commie fucks, just blasted him in the face, one shot and done. And that made the rounds. They didn't happen to notice, because that was me. They didn't happen to notice that on my back it said Multnomah County Fire. They didn't notice that it was a bunch of firemen getting attacked, and we just had to handle our shit. No, that was a neo-Nazi knocking out a protester that was peacefully protesting. Give me a fucking break.
This is Forging Thought talking, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we were talking in the chat earlier. You said you spent some time in Portland there. Were you rolling with like the Joey Gibson crew, or the
I think that all happened. That all came through after I was around, because I was I was just a dude that was volunteer firefighter, and then I worked in bars as a security guy, and I worked as a DJ and stuff. And then I wasn't part of any of that stuff. And then I made Multnomah County Fire. I was never part of any like group up there. I was a fucking biker that was a fireman. So
gotcha.
Yeah, that shit all happened. I left there 2016. 2017.
Oh, you missed out. Good. I'm so glad you got out of there when you did, man. But like, even when you guys were saying the twist on the media is, like, there were so many people, I think probably still today, people think that Kyle Rittenhouse was shooting people of color.
That's
like, they still believe it.
That's a fact. People still think that this kid was down in Kenosha shooting at black people. I know guys right now that'll tell you that Kyle Rittenhouse shot 3 black people.
And he crossed state lines.
Yep, all kinds of shit, man. False information.
Propaganda at its finest. And
what was the Koshinoir kid, man?
Yeah, and this is what I want to ask you guys, man. We're noticing some of the same plays that we were just listening to. I mean, what's the one that stands out the most? What's the one thing that we just heard that we can say, you know what, that's certainly happening here in America right now? Every one of you, give me one idea, maybe two. Who cares? What's the one thing for sure? A couple of things for certain that just cannot be denied. Because the reason we're doing this is because I want you to see that this is a Nazi playbook. This is a fascist playbook, and these people are calling us to fascists.
It's manipulation of the information to seek a certain goal is what it is. It's misinformation all the way. Censorship of one to amplify the other.
Misinformation is big time, no doubt about it.
Hey,
that's what I would call it too. Censorship or misinformation.
Real quick, Greg. Hey, if you guys haven't, man, I need 5 more subscribers to hit 1,000 right now so I can get monetized. If you haven't went and subscribed to my channel, Breaking Fetters, I ask that you please do so. I'll drop a link in the chat.
Yeah, me too.
Say that real quick. Yeah,
I need like 700 more. So everybody just hit the subscribe 100 times each, and I'm in there. I know I'm in there.
We're working on it, brother. We're working on it.
It ain't that, you know.
Hey, you know what? You might as well wish in one hand and take a dump in the other one, dude.
Not me. I'm hopeful. 918 to go. Woo!
Yeah,
Snowman, where are you at? Where are you at with yours?
Hey, look,
dude, every time I get close to 1,000, dude, they kill my channel every time.
I know. It's because you're it's because you're speaking facts, and we all know that.
When you get to like 800, do cat videos for a while, and then
that's why we have to share it. Everybody has to share. Fuck the algorithm. If we share it to like-minded folks and get it out there, then you know what I mean. It'll get out there.
Hey, I did put it up. You got Greg. You gotta hit share my screen. There should be 2 angry snowmans.
Oh, I got you. I got you. All right, listen. We're gonna show a couple of pictures. After this, we're gonna go into clip 3. Enemies of the state. That's us, y'all. Okay?
I just wanted to show you guys the guys down in Cleveland, man. Got to show the proof.
Oh my God! Look at all those Nazis.
Yeah, look at all of them.
Look at
that guy right. Look at that guy right there with that beard and.
Look at that guy. Who's this guy? Hey, I can identify that guy. I need to get paid.
Oh yeah.
I think I can identify him. What do you think? Anybody else know who that is?
You talking about the husky guy?
Yeah, that husky guy right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, who is that? Oh, that looks like
is that Brian
Snowman. Snowman.
That was actually a good picture there.
That is a good one.
Was that really you? That was really you, Snowman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, the thing is the reason why we wore khaki is, for one, we're not military, but we felt that we should all dress uniform to look professional.
Absolutely.
I know. I was just giving you shit.
I know. I mean, look, dude, like I said, I never joined the military because I was a pussy back then. But, there came a time where I felt it was my duty to at least stand up for the people in my state, and we did that just because they kept saying that Cleveland was going to be a bloodbath. Oh, it's going to be a bloodbath. That's an open carry state, It's funny, not a single thing happened.
So, well, listen, what we're about to jump into right now is, we've already concluded that these motherfuckers lie. Lord, I'm working on my tongue. Look, they make me so mad, man. I mean, I'm not going there. But anyway, so this next clip is going to be about what these people do with the enemies of the state, who they brand, why they do it. And it's going to be very, very interesting because I promise you, you're going to be able to easily recognize these plays.
They do it because they hate you.
Yeah, they don't like us at all. That I think we can all agree on.
You mean they don't like me?
They do.
No,
they don't like me?
No, they really don't like us at all.
Especially you in particular, because you talk too much and you will not go along with their agenda. You're a dissenter.
Well, here's an interesting thought. Here's that I know that Snowman has heard kicked around by Trey the MBD. The men on that side don't like us, but their ladies really do.
Not in public though.
I'm married, brother, so I can't comment on that.
No,
I'm taking too. I'm not saying they like me. I'm just We,
Oh,
I-
but they
we're
like
not
you
stupid
really-
either. We're
But
not
check
dumb.
it out. Do you really want to be laying in bed and have some chick next to you like, so I want to talk about government and why you fuck.
You do that way too well, bro. That's shit right there.
No man, dude. You know though. You've heard all the talks over on Trey, SKCs, and free zones. You know, they've talked to that. You know, it's been discussed.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Clip 3. Enemies of the state. Y'all buckle your seatbelt. This one gets real interesting.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
Also, like Italian fascists, this led German fascists to glorify and advocate for violence, war, and expansionism. But in the German vocabulary, they argued that the German people were superior and therefore deserved more quote unquote living space. So that was largely their justification for trying to conquer Europe. They argued that the German people were superior and therefore deserved more living space. Now, the major quote unquote modification that Nazis made to this theory was they said, not all those living within the German borders share the German blood. And of course, primarily by that, they targeted Jewish people. Hitler stereotyped Jewish people as Marxist internationalists and believed that they were hurting Germany, which sent him violently in the opposite direction, which led him to declare that Jews, despite living in Germany, do not share the German blood. Since they believed that whatever made the nation stronger was the correct course of action, it was soon arrived at that eugenics and genocide would make the nation stronger and therefore should be done, which in their language was quote unquote purifying the German blood. So this brought an incredible mean-spiritedness to Nazi ideology that went beyond just targeting Jewish people. So to illustrate that, I'm going to read one passage. So this is a memo from a high-ranking Nazi official that details ideas on how to make the stock of the nation stronger. I'm going to read it, but I should warn you that the next minute or so is going to be disturbing. All right, here we go. All Germans are unequal. That is the starting point. The first logical conclusion to be drawn from inequality is the inequality of value. Some Germans are more valuable than others. A logical consequence of this inequality must be the principle of unequal treatment. That is, unequal share of state power, property, culture. All these must be distributed to people on the basis of how valuable they are. And then he gives criteria to determine value, and then says, no pity is to be shown to those who occupy the lower categories of the inferior groups: cripples, epileptics, the blind, the insane, deaf and dumb, children born in sanatoria for alcoholics or in care, orphans, criminals, whores, the sexually disturbed, etc. Everything done for them not only means taking resources away from more deserving causes, but counteracts the breeding selection process.
I had to stop it right there.
Bro.
I had to stop it right there, bro. I had to stop it right there. We got to talk about that.
Bro, I never
Greg,
understood the
I want.
No. I'm
Like,
not
they have
gonna
it
say
bad
nothing
enough.
because if I say anything, I'm just gonna end up being a fucking Nazi, probably.
Well, I'm gonna say something because for one fucking thing, many of you up here know this about me. Greg, what do I have? I won't actually show it, but I will say it.
No, you got to show it. I can't speak for you. You got to show it, bro.
I heard you got a.
Even though I told you,
I got a fucking Not good job.
Oh, God.
Good job forging.
Was that the Great American Challenge you just pulled out?
hold on.
Oh God, the fact you know the name of that is even horrifying.
The last time I did that on this channel, Greg said not to ever fucking do it again, but I had to do it this time.
Wonder what
So
that thing smells like.
they would fucking kill me. They would fucking kill me because of my disability.
Oh fuck. I'm dying.
Oh,
Man,
oh yeah, dude. AC, you're the first to go, dude. You're the first to go out here, bro.
I know I'm the first to go. I don't
gotta
give
ask.
a fuck.
I gotta ask, bro, because I've never had the balls to ask anybody at the VFW this or at the VA. Does that thing smell like a kangaroo's pouch or what?
No,
Okay,
no,
all right. Just had to ask.
no. It gets washed.
How do you know what a kangaroo's pouch smells like, bro?
Oh, thank you to stay out of my personal affairs. Thank you.
Well, that's the question now.
None of your damn business.
Oh fuck!
I was in
can't do
Australia.
that.
and shit got well.
Hey, man, I can't do this tonight, man. I cannot do this. But is it? Look, I mean, but listen, all together.
Look, we were trying to have a serious, real conversation, and you guys had to come up here with and just jack it all up, man. There's always
He pulled the leg out. Fuck.
Come on, we're not allowed to have a little bit of fucking fun with this one. Sorry, Greg.
You always got to
need
be so angry, bro.
I mean, the man lost his leg. Let him wave it around. You couldn't stop me.
Let me ask Greg. I want to ask Greg. After we watched this, we saw what the guy, he highlighted everything. The whole no pity thing is, I think that's pretty fucking harsh. Especially if it's going to be like your family or something like that. If the government's going to have no pity on somebody that you're related to, I can't stand with that. But in regards to like where our current government is doing now in our country, let's not get me having you take talking code the serum that it's being put in.
Mhm.
I don't know. Do you think that's like a sidestep that they're trying to do?
Let's
all.
just
I'll leave it.
say they call it an audible. They changed the formation, but they run in the same play.
Well, look, this is what I heard and everything that was said. I heard war.
Shout out to Nacho, America. What's up?
What's up, brother? American Nacho.
I heard, war and the party that's supposed to be against war that is about war. And I heard democracy being thrown around again, which is another word for communism, and eugenics, which reminds me of Melinda Gates. I can't remember if it's her father or grandfather, who worked for IBM back in the day when IBM was first getting started, because IBM was the one that actually made the machines and the cards that the Jews had to carry around for their paperwork.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, and what's funny is the Gates or Melinda Gates, her whole family's tied up in all of that eugenics. Think about this. Do you think that her father or grandfather, since they were working for IBM at the time, had enough forethought that they knew exactly what they planned on doing with those computers?
Oh my God, dude!
They did.
But-
They did.
Snowman, you already said that they've known for millennia the playbook.
No, what I'm saying, survival.
Oh, yeah.
You're missing what I'm saying. Did they know that was the tool?
Create the problem, and then sell the.
No, I'm just. Do you think that Do you think they had the forethought that little box that just read a card and said whether or not your papers were correct was going to grow? Was going to evolve into what we have today, which is a propaganda spreading machine.
I don't know.
It's about the nanotech, and it's about the chip implants under the skin, the digital IDs. All of that comes from IBM. All of that comes from exactly what Snowman is talking about, and what he's asking is, do you believe that they could foresee as far out to know that these digital IDs one day will be in the body? We're going to.
What I do notice,
Thank you for catching what I was trying to ask. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And I'm seeing exactly what you guys are saying. And if they had the forethought for that, I imagine they would, because, maybe not Bill Gates at the time, if he was just who he says he was. But, you have to question a guy that builds a shitty product, but then also sells what's the word I'm looking for? The solution to the virus that is in the product that he bought from you.
Ouchie.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're trying to get into that whole Hegelian dialectic thing where we create the problem. We create a problem, that way we can give you a solution.
Yeah. That's what I thought you were saying. Is that what you were saying?
I mean, to a degree, yeah. I mean, because that was what was brought up in the first clip was the Hegelian. Well, Hegel himself, which is the guy who came up with the idea of the Hegelian dialectic.
Yeah. Let's finish this. I just wanted to stop because listen, what we saw take place in the nursing homes in New York, all over the country. That's what this was.
Facts.
Okay, that's what this was. America, that's what this was. Do not be mistaken. Don't be fooled. That was it.
And they let them, and they forced those people to die alone.
Yes, they did. Their families could not come see them, could not visit them. They could talk, but they could not touch.
Maybe see them through a window.
Maybe see them through a window.
From outside.
This was inhumane. But again, these people don't care about being inhumane because they have a history of being inhumane, and they're trying to bring that history into our present. Let's get back to this video.
Yeah.
Somebody you got to say something. You want to say something else, no man?
No, I was just going to say I'm pretty sure that violates the Geneva Convention.
All day, brother. The Nuremberg trials. We need to have Nuremberg trials 2.0 in this country.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go.
Nor should we mourn the dumb, the weak, the spineless, the apathetic, those with hereditary diseases, the pathological, because they go under innocently. This bottom category means destruction and death, weighed and found wanting. Trees which do not bear fruit should be cut down and thrown into the fire, which I suppose was a means of illustrating what can happen when your overriding principle is to do whatever makes the quote-unquote nation great. If that's your mindset, and then someone approaches you with that type of program, it might actually seem like a good idea. Of course, in reality, that mindset brought defeat, humiliation, and even catastrophe to Germany. Because, of course, in reality, there's more to morality and there's more to life than this simple making the nation great equation that Germany got stuck in. Okay, moving on. So in order to make their movement work, the Nazis needed broad support among the German public. And they didn't have it early on, but by the late 30s, they did have it. And they largely won it by turning around the economy and by conquering and annexing countries like Austria and Czechoslovakia without going into war. But they also notably won it through heavy-handed use of propaganda. Hitler discusses propaganda at length in Mein Kampf, but his basic philosophy is that propaganda exists in order to convert people to your cause that are not already the true believers. And the way to do it is to project simple, strong messages and to relentlessly repeat them over and over. So that's what he did. He bombarded the German public relentlessly with propaganda. To get a sense of what that looked like, let's look at William Schirer's account, who was a journalist that lived in Nazi Germany in 1940.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to cut it off, but right there, I just wanted to make the quick point. All the repetition of words, that's a very important thing to remember, because how many times have you heard Russian collusion? How many times have you heard them say all the different words with Trump relating to Trump, you know? Xenophobia, they said over and over and over again. Russian collusion, they said over and over and over again. Every time they repeat a word, it's because of that shit.
Because what?
It's because
Terrorists, extremists, we hear that all the time.
Exactly.
How many times do you hear the undocumented alien?
Yep.
You know, instead of illegal alien.
Or illegal immigrant.
You know, how often do you hear that there's colored folks that can't go out and get licenses over and over again?
Oh, that bullshit.
Dude, the truth of the matter is like you were saying, they repeat it over and over and over again until it stays stuck in your brain.
Well, it doesn't stay stuck in our brain, Snowman. You've seen all the videos of, like, you know, the man on the street, and they go around. They'll do a quick one. They'll ask
survival. There's even stuff that we're told that if we don't check, stuck.
Nobody's immune. Yeah, nobody's immune to propaganda. I know, but like there is a certain side that like maybe I don't know what it is. If it's an IQ level or something, there's a lot of people that are getting hit with this propaganda that are really eating it up.
Yeah,
because you'll see a man on the street put a microphone in somebody and say, "Hey, do you think it's right for there to be a voter ID law?" And these people will say, "No, I think that's very racist because black people can't get IDs." And then they'll go to the fucking the Harlem or something, and they'll interview black people and be like, "Do you know how to get an ID?" And they'll be like, "Yeah." Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I get an ID. Like,
I,
what are you talking?
I'll let the rest of the video, this part of the video play out, but I got something to add to that too regarding the beginning of the pandemic, which was like total propaganda and everybody fell for it. But anyway,
We continue on, sir.
yeah, sorry.
Good, sir. We were talking to you, Greg.
Yeah,
Mr.
I'm just talking about. I want to say this before we jump back into the clip. If you
Oh.
ever watch the movie Divergent,
Yes.
you'll understand exactly why the propaganda affects some and it doesn't affect others. And they seek to weed out those that the propaganda does not
You're the divergent.
affect, because we are the divergence. Let's get back into this. Divergent brothers. How do I turn this back on? Oh, yeah.
And who wrote The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. Here was his experience. I myself was to experience how easily one is taken in by a lying and censored press and radio in a totalitarian state. It was surprising and sometimes consternating to find that, notwithstanding the opportunities I had to learn the facts, and despite one's inherent distrust of what one learned from Nazi sources, a steady diet over the years of falsifications and distortions made a certain impression on one's mind and often misled it. No one who has not lived for years in a totalitarian land can possibly conceive how difficult it is to escape the dread consequences of a regime's calculated and incessant propaganda. Often in a German home or office, or sometimes in a casual conversation with a stranger in a restaurant, a beer hall, a cafe, I would meet with the most outlandish assertions from seemingly educated and intelligent persons. It was obvious that they were parroting some piece of nonsense that they'd heard on the radio or read in the newspapers. Sometimes one was tempted to say as much, but on such occasions one was met with such a stare of incredulity, such a shock of silence, as if one had blasphemed the Almighty, that one realized how useless it was to even try to make contact with a mind which had become warped, and for whom the facts of life had become what Hitler and Goebbels, with their cynical disregard for the truth, said they were.
I had to stop it right there too, because all of us have had encounters with people that seem to be intelligent, but they can't. I had a conversation with somebody just today, man, and I asked him what I told him. He said, "I speak the truth." I said, "If you're telling me that this nation is in better condition right now than it was when Donald Trump was president, you don't speak the truth." He was like, "I do speak the truth. You're just a water carrier for the Republican Party. You're a mouthpiece for the what?
What?
Come
Fuck outta
on.
here.
They speak whose truth then?
Come on, man. It's like, it doesn't matter how ridiculous it sounds. There's no way you have a brain and you think that we're in better shape right now.
No. If that
Yeah,
person
that's-
hasn't been living under a rock and they have all the information and that's still the conclusion they draw, then they have a condition it's a really well-known condition. It's called being fucking retarded.
Well, yeah, and everybody
It's
else
being brainwashed.
there's a real theory about NPCs being amongst us out here in a simulation setting. There's that theory. There could be some NPCs out here, and like what Forging Thought was saying, like, they're fucking retarded. The program just say what they say, and you meet them on your daily life, and they just they say what they say.
I want to give an example that I was talking about before, and I won't go into anything that'll get the channel in trouble or anything. But in the beginning of the pandemic, there was a thing where I was watching, because I always watch international news. I was seeing people have fever seizures in China back in November of 2019. So I was like, something's going on, because as a first responder, I recognize certain things with medical shit. I'm like, something's going on. So I, in all my infinite wisdom, because apparently I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes, I bought my family and my friends and my my roommates a bunch of masks and stuff, and I said, "Hey, I don't know what's going on, but we're probably gonna need these because something's going on." Got called crazy, got called an idiot, got called a paranoid weirdo. Fast forward to February, Trump says, "Hey, there's something going on overseas. We don't know what it is, but I'm going to shut down the travel." What did the left do? The left said, no, you're being xenophobic. You're being this and that. And that's when the word xenophobic was everywhere. And it was nowhere the month before. And then all of a sudden you started hearing it everywhere. And there was not one person on the street not talking about him being xenophobic because he said he wanted to shut down travel. Well, guess what? Fast forward 2 or 3 months, or 2 months from that, Nancy Pelosi was in San Francisco in the middle of Chinatown going, don't be xenophobic. Come, join us. They wanted the shit to spread. Same shit they were doing in New York. Fast forward.
Yeah.
Hold on. Fast forward 4 months from that. And what do they say? He didn't do enough to stop the spread. He didn't do anything in the beginning.
I like this guy.
They treated the people like they got the memory of a goldfish. And because they went with it, they proved them right. These people bought it hook, line, and sinker, and they don't remember the shit being said 2 months before.
Hey, dude, and if you think about it, prior to that, they had all the, the impeachment inquiry hearings and the trial and stuff, and people pretended like they knew what was going on there. And I'm here to tell you, I watched every waking minute of that shit, and it was the most ridiculous, retarded display of grown people trying to run government in this country I've ever seen in my life. For the first time ever, I saw them try and actually impeach a president without a single freaking witness at all. Not one, not a single witness of anything.
Not one.
Coming forward. Not one single witness. Not one. Remember, because their main character witnesses, their professional witnesses were college professors.
I mean,
giving their opinions.
We're talking about a party that was trying to impeach him when he wasn't even president anymore. They probably shouldn't be doing government. They should be at home coloring.
They should be at home with the coloring. And it's definitely not listening to Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, because that was supposed to be their star witness, and he had nothing.
Actually, if anything, he's the one that lost them anything that they had, because he corroborated what Trump and them were saying.
The thing about it with me, it was because of the Mueller report. When I actually read the entire freaking thing, took me a while, is when I was like, these idiots are doing the same playbook that's in the Communist Manifesto. They're just trying to speed up what that book says. They've been trying to do the long game, like Mitch McConnell wants, because he's just one of these Democrat lights. He wants them to slow down, and it's like we can see that today because of all the stuff they did against Trump, and it's
everything they
ridiculous.
do is underhanded. Everything they do is underhanded. Look at the COVID relief bill. It was 800 pages long. They gave it to him in the midnight hour. They gave it to him at the last minute they could give it to him, because they put it in their heads like, oh, well, nobody's going to read 800 pages. How much extra shit did they have in that COVID relief bill?
Every single thing.
Dude,
every single bill.
Dude, $5 trillion of that bill went to all overseas and foreign investment.
Oh, yeah.
Insanity.
And who said it? Who was it that said it earlier? In the chat, somebody said, every bill that it might have been a different channel, I don't remember, but it's true. Every bill that they propose is titled with the exact opposite meaning of what it intends to do.
Dude, the latest one.
There's the.
Have you read the Green New Deal? Fuck.
Dude, the latest one with the inflation, that inflation bill that they just did, or no, the Infrastructure Act that they did. Did you know part of that? We're paying for Canada to get new railroads now.
Oh, yeah. It's whatever bullshit they want for their own little skeezy things, and then they pad it with whatever they're actually saying publicly.
They call it Build Back Better, and it's just fucking tax everyone better.
I have hairy legs.
Look, cognitive dissonance is real. And with that, you find people that, and it's becoming more and more true, the more I've been saying it and I've been seeing it. People will only read anything, not even books anymore, but read anything that tells them what they already know. They don't want to learn anything new.
Not only that, but they won't look at anything themselves. They want to be told. They don't want to read anything for themselves. They want to be told. It's the mass dipshittery of the nation.
But the thing about it, I had someone ask me, why ain't schools better in this country? Why in the hell would the government want to teach something that would take them out of power?
Well, the schools ain't good better in this country because you got a bunch of
I just want to give a salute to Greg, and I got to get going. I got
God,
stuff
you're
to-
ugly. You should not cam up at all, dude.
Y'all are retarded.
All right, all right, man.
Retarded, man.
I love all you guys. Hey, I'm out of here for tonight. I got to go do family stuff. Talk to you
Hey,
guys later.
Survival,
Good one,
brother.
Later, survival.
Later, survival.
You better
Hey,
make sure you carry a dog toy or something around your neck so them kids will play with you.
You are so retarded, man. I can't deal with you.
Says
bro.
the guy who stole his headphones from a 12-year-old girl.
Hey,
Oh,
now.
anyway.
Hey, now.
Hey, look at American Nacho's comment. It's on the screen. Somebody just check that out.
I like calling your organizations and then stealing.
He said it's kind of like calling your organization Black Lives Matter and stealing from black families and paying terrorists.
They don't do that though.
Oh,
They've
Patrice
never done
Colors
that.
is-
No.
What are you talking about?
Patrice
They're the
Colors-
best housing developer in the world. They got a
Patrice
couple
Colors-
mansions for the people.
Yeah.
Dude, Patrice Color should be put under the prison for what she did.
Oh
Seriously.
my god, man. Oh my god.
I do
bro.
think it's pretty messed up how Black Lives Matter made so much money for that one white guy, Sean King.
Yeah.
Ain't that crazy?
that's facts. That's facts.
Yep.
They made sure they took care of White Zaddy, but they didn't want nothing to do with the community.
No.
The community.
The community, they didn't want nothing to do with the community. Look, let's finish this up. We got about another minute and 57 seconds on this clip. We got one more clip after it, and we're gonna chop it up. Here we go.
Play button, brother.
So, unlike fascist Italy, much of the German public ended up buying into Nazi ideology, and many of them took it up ravenously, particularly young people, a demographic Hitler specifically targeted. Given our time constraints, I think the best thing I can do here is to just give you a snapshot of what that looked like. And I think the best way to do that is to show you another passage. So this is a passage from another history of Nazi Germany on student activity and book burning. On April 12th, 1933, the Nazi German Students Association's Office for Press and Propaganda announced a nationwide action against the un-German spirit, which was to climax in a literary purge, a cleansing by fire. The students presented their action as a response to a worldwide Jewish smear campaign against Germany and an affirmation of traditional German values. They published a blacklist of un-German authors. Then the authors are listed, and then he talks about how the students were influenced by Martin Luther burning the papal bull. And then it continues. For the students, the tradition of book burning was associated not with reactionary impulses, but with defiance against authority and with strong nationalist sentiments. Placards publicized the 12 Theses, which attacked Jewish intellectualism, asserted the need to purify German language and literature, and demanded that universities be centers of German nationalism. Germany's most dangerous adversary is the Jew, the document read. If a Jew writes in German, he is lying. The German who writes in German but thinks in an un-German way is a traitor. We want to eliminate the lie. We want to brand the treason. We demand from the German student the will and ability to overcome Jewish intellectualism and all the liberal manifestations of decay associated with it. Students and professors should be selected on the basis of their thinking in the German spirit. So this is the type of thinking that Hitler and the Nazi Party.
I'm starting to think Hitler was Hillary Clinton's daddy.
I mean,
We couldn't hear you. Your mic was off.
Yeah, I do that from time to time. Ask around.
I'll
It's
keep you. I'll
called
keep you.
going live.
is it
I'll
true,
look-
panel? Does he do it? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, he does.
Yeah, me and the mute button, we have this love-hate relationship.
I'm
Oh.
blinks on my face. I can't help but not see it.
Yeah, and what's crazy is as Fetters will just sit down there and laugh and watch your mouth move, and you think you're talking to everybody.
That's funny.
I've never done that.
One thing I'm having trouble with is just this dude in general, because he starts this. I've seen this thing before. He starts with the whole premise that he's trying to equate Nazism and fascism with "Make America Great Again." Like that's how he starts this thing off. So there's a couple facts that he's getting skewed, because National Socialism and fascism do have some similarities, but they're also vastly different.
Well, he made the difference, the distinction in the first part. But you got to understand, he's putting it out here because this guy is a full-fledged patriot, loves America, is all about the Constitution. And the reason he says it over and over is because now we should understand why the extreme left are saying that we are Nazis and that Donald Trump is a white supremacist, because they are taking from the other history of Germany, the whole book, and they're taking it from Hitler's book itself, where they constantly use that term, make Germany great again.
They need a boogeyman.
Yeah, and Donald Trump recoined it and made it, he repopularized it, talking about America because it was fitting for us. Because
Ronald Reagan had used it too in the 80s.
Exactly.
That's what I was about to say. That's what I was about to say.
I think it's even simpler than that, though. I think it's much simpler than that. I think that it boils down to what we were talking about a minute ago, that most, not all, but most Americans, especially the whole fucking TikTok generation, they only want to be spoon-fed their shit. They don't want to research it themselves. They want to tune in maybe for an hour a night, get their news from CNN, find out what they are being told, and then say, okay, I'm running with that. They don't want to, they'd rather make TikTok videos than research anything. And because of that, when you boil something down into, oh, this person's a Nazi, instead of actually saying what their motives are, what their ideals are, and what they believe, you just say they're a Nazi. That instantly puts them in the category of a boogeyman, so you can hate them.
Well, look, if you think about what's been going on and this, that, and the third, and what they're saying about folks like us, first off, they're saying that we're the most violent, right? That we're out here just committing all these acts of atrocity, but yet the majority of folks that consider themselves patriots spent almost 3-4 years getting misled by Q and buying into that and sitting and trusting the plan and waiting for the storm and doing absolutely nothing because that's what they were told to do.
Facts, they still are.
Some people still are.
Yeah, some people still are.
I didn't know anything about that thing. I didn't know anything about Q until about 3 months ago. Literally 3 months ago is when I found out anything about it. And there's a lot of chats I sit in,
thing ever,
and
dude.
I'm just like, are you serious? Like, some of the stuff they say is, I'm like, you're wasting so much time and effort and energy
on nothing. I got absolutely nothing
with Keeks, because it was one of the greatest psyops that has ever been pulled over on us. And, a lot of people were, put on, the terrorist watch list who frequented with.
And that's what I was saying.
Well, look, dude, the day that they tried saying that John F. Kennedy Jr. was still alive and that he was Q.
Trump is still
and
president.
that him and Trump had been planning this, and that's why he got in that plane crash. That's when I said, you guys are freaking stupid. I said, what's next? Biggie and Tupac are going to come back because they've been hiding out in the Bahamas waiting to do something?
That was a story for a while.
What they've been saying is that Trump is still president and he's controlling everything, and Biden's just like a mouthpiece thing. Like,
there's
I
no
don't
way.
understand it. I've been saying since I first started finding out about it, I came to the theory by myself that it was just, I'm like, you guys, this sounds like something they would do if they just wanted to know where all the patriots are at, that are actually willing to do diligent research. If you go into these wormholes, or if you go into these rabbit holes, those are the people they want to find out where they're at, because those are the people who are going to expose some shit. So what they did is they created this thing to try to figure out where all those people were, and you came out in the open forum. It's like dumping the fucking hot water or the goddamn soapy water on the ground to get the worms out of the ground. You come out for them, they can pick you off.
Hey, Snowman, somebody wants to know who you are.
An enigma wrapped in a mystery.
I'm the angry snowman, I guess. But what do you want to know? I might give you an answer.
They were just asking for your name. India is
somebody
one of my...
asked if so you got from Greg Kelly, top left.
Indy, I vouch for him.
Top left, you got the Angry Snowman in the middle and the top. You got Forging Thought there on the right, the top. I'm breaking fetters, and then you got the Angry Conservative down here on the lower right. Somebody was asking for our names earlier.
Yeah, I saw that. So tell me, why don't I see everybody's name? Like, what is that?
There's a certain. Are you using StreamYard?
I am.
There should be, if you play around with your the little things down there to change up the screen pattern.
I got it.
There you go.
There we go.
Yep, boom. Perfect. That's it.
All right. Now,
Indy would like to know what we all think about Trump.
Well, you don't want me to talk about that because I'll talk for a day and probably piss half of you off.
Well, I've got a short deal.
Never
I mean,
seen
Yeah,
many.
I've got a
he's
real
a
short
man.
answer. Easy.
He's a man and he's not perfect, but I'll take him any day as president.
Absolutely. That's
Any day.
listen. I'll tell you something. I couldn't vote as a felon for the longest time, and then in California, I didn't even. There was nobody worth voting for in California. I got to be honest with you. So the first time I got the vote was actually for Trump 2020, and I was out there 2019 raising hell in these rallies in Florida. Man, I was streaming them live, everything, man, and. Did I like some of this, everything that he stood for? No. And I think he made some mistakes. Um, like Greg said, he's not perfect, but he is not a politician. And that's what I liked about him. And and you know what? He did a lot of good for this country, and you cannot deny that.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you
If
can,
I can,
but
yeah, I got something to say about it. It'll be quick.
But
If
yeah,
you're
I
done,
mean,
Fetters. But
yeah, but I mean, he did a lot of good, and I definitely would take him over the administration we have right now any day. And
I didn't.
that's who we were voting for.
All I
My-
saw was another actor from The Apprentice in the White House.
So my take on it is that if you look at the financial gains of all the politicians that were around the White House at the time, the reason that they hated Trump so much, and the reason that because Trump, like my personal opinion of the guy, yeah, he's a fucking asshole sometimes, and he does some dumb shit, but he's also done some intelligent business shit. The thing that I noticed the most about Trump is how much they needed him out of office. Like they needed him out of office bad, and the reason is because he wasn't a politician. He was somebody from the outside coming in. I firmly believe that it does not matter if you're red or blue. They only care about the green. So they're going to be doing scams no matter what. Trump came
Very
in
true.
and they had to put the brakes on shit. Nancy Pelosi, if you look at her net worth before the Trump years, she was going up exponentially, her net worth. If you look at the Trump years, her portfolio was stagnant. It just kind of went right across with her government money. And then if you look at her numbers since Biden's been in office, it's gone up exponentially again.
Of
So
course.
with him in office, they couldn't do scams as usual. So that's something I did like. I like that he shook shit up. I don't think that he was the president we necessarily wanted, but at the same time, we didn't have any better options at the moment. And he was kind of what we needed because if nothing else, he kicked America in the ass and woke up some folks to what's going on. And like I said earlier in the chat, it's a lot easier to look around when your eyes are open.
Facts.
I actually agree with Keeks.
Now
I
we
really
need
do.
DeSantis in there.
Because look, it's like this, everybody forgets and seems to overlook the fact that Trump was a card carrying, donating Democrat his whole entire adult life and career before he got into politics, and he actually tried to when he was going to run for president. He was going to run under the Democratic ticket initially. That's why he ended up running for Republican because they didn't want him. Or could it be that they did want him and they had him run as a Republican so they could have a Democrat disguised as a Republican in office?
There's no way
I
he
think
worked for them. There's no way he worked for them just because, just for the simple fact, this is my opinion. It's what I see. There's no way he ran for them the way they came at him, bro.
No way.
There's no way.
I don't know that those
No
people
way.
just like to argue and fight, dude. Because
No.
look at this. Think about this for a
This
second.
is beyond arguing and fighting. Just look at how far this has gone. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm expecting Donald Trump to be in a body bag before 2024.
I expected that already.
Biden will
Yeah.
be gone before him.
I'm just saying they hate the guy, man. There's no way they're partners. There's no way he's running as a, he was supposed to run as a Democrat. They said, you know what, I'll run as a Republican, but I'm really a Democrat. Everything that he did opposed them. They do not like him, and it's real. That is real bad.
Did it really oppose him though? When he's the one that initiated the lockdowns, when he's the one that signed the $6.4 trillion that he knew was going everywhere else but here.
Well,
If you look at how that went down, though,
the one thing, Forging, if I can, the one thing that I look at about how that went down is we were told at the beginning of all that the hospitality and the airline industry got hit the hardest. And we all know that Trump built his empire off of the hospitality industry, hotels all over the place. You don't think a major portion of that didn't go right in his pocket?
From what I could tell, I mean, the financial records are kind of out in the open, and the losses that he took are out in the open. It's just look at some of those real estate properties. A lot of them folded. I mean, this is public information. You can actually go look at that.
Brother, nobody in Congress is sitting up there on that hill or having anything to do with the federal government is disclosing where the money from COVID went.
No,
Nobody.
Not. I'm just saying that a lot of his properties folded. A lot of those, 5-star resorts folded, especially in Florida. But in New Jersey,
he still got money for it though.
I mean, but this is stuff that's before him being in office. The man's a businessman. I'm not opposed to a man making.
Did he own Mar-a-Lago and a couple other major hotels all across the country? I mean, I'm just saying. Yeah. That's my take on it. I mean, I'm actually being, really, right down the center on this and just calling things out that I saw.
Well, he even admitted that he was a Democrat at one point.
Yeah, he admitted.
He admitted it a long time ago. I mean, straight up. So I mean, he admitted he was a Democrat.
I mean, Christ, he never pardoned the Hammonds and the Bundys that he promised he would do. He didn't get Wall Street out of Washington. He brought him into the White House. He didn't take care of Snowden, which he should have.
He definitely should have got Snowden out of Russia.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot that. Hey, listen, I agree with you, Snowman. There's a lot of stuff that he did that he didn't do that was wrong. But we're just saying, like, at the time, who the hell do we have to pick better? And right now, we see what we got going on now. I mean, but
where I'm at with
like
Confederates,
DeSantis runs.
And there's something you're not taking into account too. The fact that Trump's net worth went down 31% as a result of his presidency.
He's taking a hit, bro.
And on top of that, when you're the president, you can't just say this is the way it's going to be, because I say he's in a tough spot. Whoever the president is in a tough spot because they have to come up with suitable compromise for everybody. And the majority of the country at that point was telling him they wanted certain things.
Well, look, I understand that I'm not one of them morons and idiots that think that the president has unfettered power. I understand that Congress is the one with the power in this country. Right. I get that. But what the things that I was stating, like the Hammonds and the Bundys,
right?
He could have did that without any act of Congress. He could have took care of Wall Street without an act of Congress. He could have took care of Snowden without an act of Congress. He could have built the wall without the taxpayer dollars, like he said.
He let that dude out in Florida, that rapper out in Florida.
But Snowman, you see what they're doing to what they're doing in New York to I can't think of his name, the one he pardoned right before he left office. He's going to court in the Southern District in New York State for the wall.
I know who you're talking about. I forget what his name is.
But if he pardoned Snowden on the federal level, guess what would have probably happened? A state or two would have probably picked it up and charged him with a crime. So it's not like, I understand where you're coming from, but Trump is one man, and look how much fucking bullshit he had to put. And I have my doubts, and you can ask Greg.
Not enough. That's not good enough.
I do have my doubts about Trump because he made a statement. He made a statement that I do not agree with. He made a statement that he wanted red flag laws across the country. I don't agree with that. But
I don't agree with I don't agree with militarizing our police force, and he did that.
Well, I think the militarization of the police force was due to to the riots that broke out.
What I'm saying is, yes, in that area, but the simple fact is he actually literally started implementing militarized police across the country. And that is literally what fascism is, dude.
Hey, is that the guy you were talking about right there on the screen? Roger Stone?
Yes.
I mean, and I'm not sitting here trying to say that he is a horrible person or that he is that. I'm just saying, I think that there's too many people that don't actually entertain the opposing idea, and all they want to focus on is that laundry list of stuff that they keep getting told over and over and over again that he did. Because you know what? That was another one of them things that people got told over and over and over and over again that were Trump supporters that got done was that laundry list of stuff.
But he actually did it, and that's what matters to me. And like I said, I say it all the time. He ain't perfect by far, not even close. He made a ton of mistakes, and I think his cabinet was some of the people that he chose for his cabinet was kind of crazy.
And I'll say something about the militarization of police. There were certain cities during the riots where if the federal government wouldn't have stepped in, they'd still be on fire.
No, I get that. I'm not talking. Look, I'm not talking about the riots and all that. I'm just talking about just in general. When that's all he to me, he was very extreme when it came to policing in this country. Mm-hmm. I believe the police are supposed to uphold the law, not go out of their way to find a crime to charge you with. And we do have a fair balance of both of that going on in this nation right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like I said, I don't agree with everything he did, but I tell you what he did do was making this country great. And I think if he was still president, we wouldn't be where we are. We got our final clip coming up, guys. I appreciate everybody sticking around. We're having a killer conversation. Want to give a shout out to the panel, Snowman, Forge and Thaw, AC, and Fetters. And, the brother that was with us, Survival. And, just listen. What we're doing here is about you. It's about information. And I salute everybody on this panel, salute everything that you say. And I'm going to be honest with you, Snowman. I actually appreciate the fact that, you can be critical of Donald Trump. I've met a lot of Trump supporters that refuse to think that he could do anything wrong. But again, that just can't be true. Number one, he's a human being, so he's gonna have mistakes, being made. But we're gonna do a quick not station. It's a video, a channel identification. We're gonna jump into the last segment, and we're gonna cut loose here, man, and just talk about the things that we want to talk about. Listen, I am into making sure that all of my YouTubers that are in my immediate, vicinity. If you have any need for, graphics, logo design, give me a holler. I can try and help. I don't even charge people for this stuff, man, because I'm just so dedicated to, making sure that the people that are doing what we're doing, can add a little spice to their channel. So if you want to make your brand come alive, if you want to make, get some graphics on your YouTube channel, give me a holler. realgregkellyshow@gmail.com. We'll be right back after this ad. I think we'll be right back after this ad if I can make the damn thing work. All right, here we go. Come on. My favorite clip. It's one of my favorites.
On your show, allegation government are child trafficking and the grooming of children, right?
What do you mean, like what Jeffrey Epstein did with the clones?
Boom! And he scores!
I'm a little retarded.
That government officials are aiding in pedophilia, child trafficking.
Hold on, I got to do that. I got to do it one more time.
Yeah, bro, this is hilarious.
I can't.
I love it.
The gangster, man. This is what gangster look like, America. You want to know what a gangster look like? Here we go.
That dude didn't even know what to say.
On your show, is your allegation that government officials are aiding in pedophilia, child trafficking, and the grooming of children, right?
What do you mean, like what Jeffrey Epstein did with the clones?
Get him, dog.
That look, just that stone cold, like,
Motherfuckers don't know how to take it when you're real with them, bro. They just don't know how to take it.
You caught him with that left, like, bow.
No.
Yeah, bro. When you hit him,
right in the vagina.
When you hit him with booty hooks and shitty jabs, bro, they don't know how to take it.
Right?
What do you mean, like what Jeffrey Epstein did with the clones?
Yeah. Dude, the sand plug came right out of his vagina when he said that.
Alex punched him right in the vagina. Fucking wham bam right in the clam. Uppercut.
I mean, that right there is epic. Okay. That is
Epic.
clip of the year. I don't care
Dude,
who.
there was so much sand up in there that they were filling bags for making wall for the hurricane effort, man, for real.
No doubt. Oh, somebody was about to say something. No doubt. Love it. Love it. I love that dude, man. He's got the balls of a rhinoceros.
Hey, I just want to say something real quick, Greg. A great live, brother. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I am sitting here listening to this knowledge, listen to a bunch of brothers up here speak facts and have a good conversation while I look at firearms on the other screen over here. This is an amazing night. I enjoy hanging out with you guys, and absolutely, man. Much love and respect to all of
Fetters,
you guys, man. What's up?
You want to know another fact? Did you know that even as a felon, you can still own firearms?
Certain ones.
As long, if you get black powder,
Yeah,
you can still have guns legally.
Yeah, I'm up on that.
And there are 6-round black powder rifle or revolvers.
Certain states you can appeal for a shotgun too.
Yeah, I did hear about that. I don't know about 4. I need to look into it, but I'm gonna try and get my case, my charges expunged, man. I haven't had a conviction since 2000, bro. Like,
I'm just saying, dude. Even with black powder, all you need is one bullet.
Check it out. It's for the shotgun thing. It's 38 states in the Upper Union, and I believe that Florida is one of them. I could get that information and send it to you if you want.
I would appreciate it, brother.
Please send it to him.
Please,
you got it.
Please send it to him. All right, we're gonna go into the last segment. The last segment, man. Y'all have been great. Everybody on
roller coaster ride.
Great. It's been fun. I mean, we got to keep doing this. We got to keep putting out the content, man. I got one last short video just to get everybody fired up about this last video. Just remember this, man. We can overcome anything. We can defeat any enemy, and there's nothing that we cannot accomplish if we stay united. You're watching the Real Greg Kelly Show. I'm going to play this one clip before I go into the main clip, just to remind you the power that you have.
This is a time for optimism. Fear and doubt is not a good thought process, because this is a time for tremendous hope and joy and optimism and action. But to embrace the possibilities of tomorrow, we must reject the perennial prophets of doom and their predictions of the apocalypse. They are the heirs of yesterday's foolish fortune tellers, and they predicted an overpopulation crisis in the 1960s, mass starvation in the 70s, and an end of oil in the 1990s. These alarmists always demand the same thing: absolute power to dominate, transform, and control every aspect of our lives. In America, we understand what the pessimists refuse to see, that a growing and vibrant market economy focused on the future lifts the human spirit and excites creativity, strong enough to overcome any challenge by far.
So to recap, in Italy, you had the creation of the theory, and in Germany, you had a modification of the theory, and you had the theory work in practice. You had the theory coming alive. The last thing I want to cover is what would have happened if Nazi Germany hadn't been defeated. What was their vision for the world? And the best answer I could find is again with William Shirer, who based his answer on a captured trove of Nazi documents. So I'm going to read what he found. No comprehensive blueprint for the new order was ever drawn up, but it is clear from the captured documents and from what took place that Hitler knew very well what he wanted it to be: a Nazi-ruled Europe whose resources would be exploited for the profit of Germany, whose people would be made the slaves of the German master race, and whose undesirable elements, above all the Jews, but also many Slavs in the East, especially the intelligentsia among them, would be exterminated. The Jews and the Slavic people were the Untermenschen, subhumans. To Hitler, they had no right to live, except as some of them, among the Slavs, might be needed to toil in the fields and the mines as slaves of their German masters. Not only were the great cities of the East, Moscow, Leningrad, and Warsaw, to be permanently erased, but the culture of the Russians and Poles and other Slavs was to be stamped out, and formal education denied them. Their thriving industries were to be dismantled and shipped to Germany, and the people themselves confined to the pursuits of agriculture so that they could grow food for Germans, being allowed to keep for themselves just enough to subsist on. Europe itself, as the Nazi leaders put it, must be made Jew-free. He goes on to summarize the planned and actual devastation done to civilians and prisoners of war who were considered to be of the wrong blood or to have thought the wrong way, and who had the misfortune of living within the grasp of the Nazis. It includes details from the concentration camps and medical experiments done by Nazi doctors. The result, I think, is the most harrowing 57 pages I've ever personally read. But if you need any more reason to be glad that the Axis powers lost World War II, Schirer's chapter on Germany's New Order might be worth reading. And on that note, I think that's enough said about Hitler's Germany. Okay, now we're finally at the question, what is fascism? To me, this entire video has been answering that question so far. It's been answering what fascism looks like in theory, and it's been giving glimpses into what it looks like in practice. But now we're looking for something shorter. We're looking for something that resembles a definition. The most popular approach I see tries to define fascism by going into the details of fascist movements. So they might talk about say a charismatic leader, or a democracy being in trouble, or maybe something about late-stage capitalism, things like that. And at the risk of being rude, to me, that's obviously the wrong approach. We don't define any of the other major isms that way. We don't define liberalism based on, say, details of liberal movements, or socialism by details of socialist movements. So to me, we should obviously define it based on its core idea and not the details of the movements. And for me, the gold standard here is Karl Marx's definition of communism in the Communist Manifesto, where he says, the theory of the communists may be summed up in the single sentence, abolition of private property. Which then makes me ask, is there an idea or a set of words where if you heard them, you would recognize them as distinctly fascist? Since the 20th century, those words cannot be anything other than fascism. Because if that's the case, then I think that's a good starting point. And in my opinion, those words do exist. And those are the words, blood and soil. If we accept that blood and soil is fascist and cannot be anything other than fascist, then we can test out the idea that fascism is the ideology of blood and soil. It's the idea that people are bound together by blood and bound to the soil of the nation. In my opinion, that does a pretty good job of covering the essentials. But then at this point you might respond, well, yeah, but we associate blood and soil with fascism because it was a Nazi slogan. But I would argue that you're looking at it the wrong way around. Yes, it was a Nazi slogan, but it was a Nazi slogan because it captured the essence of fascism so well. I think calling fascism the ideology of blood and soil is serviceable, but it requires a lot of unpacking to understand, which made me wonder if I could find something better. And I do think I found something, but before I say it, I think I should show you the academic trail I followed to get there. There's a famous definition by Roger Griffin, who said, fascism is a political ideology whose mythic core in its various permutations is a palingenic form of populist ultranationalism. Palingenic means rebirth, like the rebirth of the nation. To me, this is a good definition, but it's also complicated. I don't think it's a definition that people can really walk away with and remember. Also, I think there's some components here that could be dropped, and I would still consider it fascism, namely the palingenic part. So we're going to try to get something closer to what Karl Marx did. I specifically want phrasing that's less clinical. I want phrasing that captures the mass enthusiasm and the demonic energy of fascism, as Robert Paxton put it. Something closer to what Jonathan Haidt said when he described fascism as hive psychology scaled up to grotesque heights. And the phrasing that did do it for me was Karl Popper's phrasing in The Open Society and Its Enemies, when he used the phrases, "We think with our blood," and "we think with our national heritage." To me, if you roughly combine those two ideas together, you have a good essence of fascism. And that would look something like, we think with the blood of our nation. The blood of our nation runs through our veins, and it is through that blood that we think. It's when you have a hive of people imagining themselves bound together by the blood of their nation and surrendering their critical thinking skills, and instead dutifully thinking whatever they're told the nation thinks. In my opinion, that's fascism. Which means if you don't have that, then you don't have fascism. It could be something that resembles fascism, but then there's other words out there that can describe it. It could be authoritarianism. It could be a military dictatorship. It could be demagoguery. maybe racism. There's plenty of other words out there. Like I said in the beginning, fascism being used loosely probably isn't going away anytime soon. But among those of us who care, those of us who want to be able to identify it correctly, in my opinion, this is fascism, the ideology that we think with the blood of our nation. Thank you.
Here we go, man. I mean, come on.
Well,
wow.
All right, he got me in the end. He's got some good points.
Isms, and more isms.
Yeah, I mean, you see how quiet it is?
I don't like that haircut, though, so I'm going to say everything you said is a lie. I raise a good point. I just feel like I still go back to the even though that's not the point of his video, I feel like they're equating them to be the same thing as a far cry from what he should be doing. Because fascism and National Socialism differed as far as, National Socialism was all about the party, whereas fascism is all about the state.
Right. And he made those distinctions in part one. And he said, specifically that, one might think nationalism is, the next of kin to fascism, but they're actually inherently different. But fascism took some of the core principles of nationalism and added it to their doctrine. And again, I made it clear that what we're looking at is nothing more than a conglomeration of multiple
I got that.
systems of government to reform the original government because they had to adapt to the times and the psychology of the people.
Yeah. I mean, like one of the things that was talked about earlier was all the different ways they've modified things from the past, from that era, and kind of recycled it to be what we're doing now. A lot of the companies, like we were talking about with IBM and whatnot, like Snowman, you were talking about IBM and all the stuff that they did.
Yeah, if you look at the tech industry now, it's basically the same thing as what was going on when the robber barons were sitting and having monopolies on industry in America.
There's so many companies. There's so many companies, and not even just German companies, but like the Krups company, the ones that came up with those coffee pods, whatever the hell those things are called, the Koyu or Keurig, whatever it is.
So the Keurig.
The Krups company is what came up with that, and Krups company is who created Zyklon B.
Ooh, interesting.
Do your research on Krups, dude. It'll blow your mind. They were one of the companies that they were part of Germany, of course, before World War II. But when World War II came around and the National Socialist part of it came out, they like imminently and very enthusiastically supported Hitler and his ideals. They were one of the first companies to jump on board, and the different things they created for the war and supplied him with are insane. And they're also one of the companies that paid for German chancellors to be fled from the country to South America.
And
that's interesting.
I want to ask this to everyone up here. I seen a video earlier today before Greg went live, and the way the person broke it down, socialism is when the state has control of everything. Fascism is when the state tells the business owners what to actually do. Would that be a better definition than the one that was given?
Repeat what you just said again, because I didn't catch all of it.
Socialism is when the state owns everything. When the federal government will own everything. Fascism is when the government tells the business owners what to do.
Yeah,
but them business owners still own the company.
It sounds to me like you just described the same thing two different ways.
No. The first one, the state would own everything. There would be no business owners. There would be no Bill Gates. They would own everything like in China. That's socialism or communism, whatever you want to call it. Fascism is with what is going on with the tech industry, doing what the government told them to do with COVID and everything else. That would be fascism.
Again, it still sounds like the same thing to me, just two different names. It really does. It's the government controlling shit.
But that's how it works. It's the same thing called different names.
Yeah, I think he's describing on like what scale kind of a thing.
Right. I mean, because at the end of the day, you got to realize the end goal, the end result of all of these little programs, socialism, communism, fascism, Marxism, Maoism, whateverism.
It creates cannibalism.
Yeah, straight up creates cannibalism and all kinds of other weird shit. But at the end of the day, it's wanting totalitarianism.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolute fact there. That is definitely the end game. So look, I want to introduce somebody to you, man. I mean, I know this is totally off topic, off kilter. All right, look, let me see your face, man. Stop playing with me and show your face so I can bring you up. Is Fetty back here? Fetty. Oh, I see him. All right. Let me see. Let me Sly Boogie. I think I know who this Sly Boog. I think I know who this is.
Greg Kelly, you got an email coming from name Murder Sprinkles. That's me.
Okay. Namely Murder Sprinkles.
What the?
Wow.
It's my nickname. Leave me alone.
All right, here we go.
Okay, Ted Kaczynski.
Who are you, Sly Boog?
Bitch, I'll be one to talk.
Real stepper, you know.
That's why I'm trying to actually look up boxing shit.
I don't hear me. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you real good. I don't
all right,
see
cool. Yeah, we all in here. We talking about boxing, man.
I want to argue with an actual.
Well, listen, I brought you up here, and I know I don't need to see your face. This is my nephew, y'all. He's down in South Carolina in school playing ball. I'm so proud of him.
Right.
I know more.
So ask the question. I'm gonna kick you off because I can't do boxing right now. We ain't talking about boxing.
What y'all in here talking about?
We you know what we on. We on the Constitution and all that good stuff. The world.
Okay.
So what's your boxing question? What you got for me?
Oh no, well, I was just. Who you think is the best boxer? Like, who do you think is the greatest boxer
of all time?
We talking about it right now.
Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson. Savage.
All day long.
Okay.
And this is all facts.
All right,
I'm gonna say Muhammad.
I'm gonna tell you like this,
dude. Mike Tyson would have knocked Muhammad's dancing around ass out.
He would have dropped him, bro. Savagely dropped him.
I'm gonna give it to you like this: the greatest fighter the world has ever seen, the greatest fighter we've ever seen is our Mike Tyson. The greatest boxer we've ever seen is Muhammad Ali.
And then we can talk about why being.
You know what? Yeah, you got a point there. Hey, Greg, that's wisdom. That's wisdom right there. You shot that.
Dude, don't
you know my boy over here. He believes it's Floyd Mayweather.
Oh my God!
Really?
Come on!
Are you serious? Eddie Murphy of boxing?
Oh my God!
All he does is dodge punches real good.
Oh.
Yeah, the greatest fighter we ever saw was Mike. Mike was a fighter. Okay, he was.
Because he was
fighting.
Right
Dude, when he got in the ring, when he got in the ring, it looked like he was fighting for his next meal.
Bro, there was somebody who actually was fighting for the next meal. That's Jack Dempsey.
Jack Dempsey was definitely fighting for his next meal.
They said Ali, and then I said he was like greatest fighter Tyson, but greatest boxer Ali. And I said my guy got
all Floyd ever says was, how many world champion fighters have I beat the most in history? How many fights have I lost? None. And all of damn near over half of my opponents are Hall of Famers now.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
Yeah, but let me just say this. Throw Floyd in with Tyson.
Well. Look, I'm going to say this. This is what. Hold on. This is what I got to say. I actually got a legit answer. I got a legit answer to your argument.
Hey, hold on one second. Hey, Malachi. Hey, let your boy know it's 6 people up here, and we all want a chance to talk. We want to hear what he got to say.
Yeah.
But we want to look. We look. Let him know he's gonna get a plethora. That he gonna get a plethora of information right here, right now. Snowman, get ready to speak his piece, and there's a few others that want to speak their piece too. And I want to thank you for calling in. I didn't think he was gonna do it, but yeah, we all talking topic, but it's cool because I love boxing. You know, I'm all in. You know, Canelo just won again, but anyway. So Snowman got something to say.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing that what I'm going to say to what you said about his record is the level of fighter that they're fighting now, as opposed to what was the level of fighter they were fighting back in the 70s, 80s, is two different types of fighters, straight up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're talking, you're basically trying to compare, you know, a guy going in and fighting with a grizzly bear to going in and fighting with a panda bear or a koala bear. You know, seriously, it's
Which
really
decade are you
really
saying
that
is
different.
Which decade are you talking about being the koala bears?
The decade we live in now.
After you call him koala bear, you still could say Hall of Famer after that shit or before, for sure.
Well,
Okay.
dude, look. Well, you could say that with any sport, man. You still got Hall of Famers in there, and sports have been they've made it too easy. They've made sports
undefeated, like,
but it's easy to be undefeated when you make rules to make it easier to become undefeated.
I mean, Rocky Marciano retired when he was undefeated.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, people try to say Floyd is the best fighter ever, and I have a few issues to raise. And what makes him not the best fighter? Listen, I'm gonna give you a couple things that doesn't qualify him to be the greatest ever. He's not the GOAT because he was 50-0. No, I can tell you he ducked Pacquiao for 8 years over 3 weight divisions, and he wouldn't give Victor Ortiz a rematch.
Oh yeah.
Okay, he wouldn't rematch him. He wouldn't fight Diego Corrales a second time either. True. And he wouldn't give Zab Judah a rematch either. Zab could have got him, but I understand that. But here's the deal: he lost to Maidana. The judges gave him that fight. Maidana Mayweather won. he didn't outpawn him. Miguel Cotto was robbed. Miguel Cotto gave him the business.
Facts, bro.
He ran, and he waited to fight Manny Pacquiao when Manny Pacquiao was on a decline. All right, so now let me name somebody, a Hispanic brother who I always have respect for, even though I really don't like him, Oscar De La Hoya.
Oh, dude, that dude was a beast.
Oh,
I'm gonna name somebody else, Sugar Shane Mosley. He fought these guys in the late stages of their career, and these guys never ducked an opponent. They weren't opportunists to the way I'm gonna wait till this guy get old. And Floyd might have been the smartest fighter ever as far as the business market. He picked and choose who he'd fight. He fought Canelo Alvarez at a time that Canelo Alvarez was unseasoned. He wouldn't have a lot of experience. You try to get him in the ring with Canelo Alvarez 5 years after they fight, he would never get in the ring with him because he know he would have been destroyed. Anybody that really had a chance to beat Floyd Mayweather, he wouldn't fight him. He wouldn't fight Ike Corte, and Ike Corte was old. He wouldn't fight Yuri Orkis Gamboa because Gamboa's hand speed could match him. No, all of Floyd's opponents were slower, and it was by design. He wouldn't fight anybody that could match his hand speed. And the last person he fought that could match his hand speed was Zab Judah, and he felt the sting of it. He didn't fight Pernell Whitaker. He wouldn't. I'm gonna say that again. He would not fight Pernell Whitaker.
I bet you he would have fought. I bet you would have fought Rocky Balboa though.
Yeah, because Pernell Whitaker was a better defensive fighter than Floyd was. He was a better offensive fighter than Floyd was. He would not make that fight because he didn't want to get exposed. So was Floyd a good fighter? Great fighter, yes. But was he better than Sugar Ray Robinson? Was he better than Julio Cesar Chavez, who had 80 plus fights but not a loss before he ever lost? 88 fights to be exact. Is he better than Julio Cesar Chavez? Hell no.
Hell, was he better than Judge Mills Lane, who was a bare knuckle boxer?
He was not. So Floyd has his place in boxing history, but as being the greatest of all time, he'll never touch it. Anybody argue? Let me know.
I'm gonna say something, and I hope you all get the joke because that's exactly what it is. Just in case you don't understand, but I think the best pound for pound fighter we have to say is the Charlie Zelenoff, and if there's nobody laughing, so I'm guessing you don't know who the hell that is.
Never heard of that one, but I love
it, dude. Hey, YouTube Charlie Zelenoff, you're gonna laugh your fucking ass off. It's a guy that claimed he beat Mayweather Sr. He claims like he'll jump out of the ring and run away, and then claim he beat the person. He claims he beat every champion there is. He claims he's like 300 and something and 0. It's if you want to laugh, go down the Charlie Z wormhole. You'll have a fucking blast.
Is he related to a dude named Tyree Sneed?
But dude, hey, trust me. Look up Charlie Z or Charlie Zelenoff on YouTube. You're gonna laugh your fucking ass off. The dude, he probably has mental problems. Like he used to go out and assault homeless people and then say that was a boxing match. Like he would just.
Dude, is he related to Tyree Sneed? Because that's this dude on YouTube.
How the fuck?
Swear to God, same thing.
Butterbean is the best fighter in history.
Oh, Butterbean's he's a beast, man.
Hey, Malik.
Hey, he's king of the 3-rounders.
Yeah,
hey, can I say something real quick, Greg?
Hold on,
that's
brother. Hold on 1 second. Let me get my nephew out of here.
You said what?
I wanted to say
look, we about to get out of here. I think my man Fetty want to say something about the boxing thing, but we're gonna go and close the show and let your own boy know. Look, listen, just get off Money Mayweather. He got a lot of money, but it's a lot of smoke that he didn't want to take. All right, go ahead, Fetty.
No. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Is that it's all about who you fight, man. Like this Mayweather. He's got all these, outlandish, records and stuff, but he hasn't fought nobody, man. It's like throw him in the ring with Mike Tyson. Now I bet you Mike Tyson will mop the ring with him. Mike Tyson was a beast. He was a pit bull. He was a savage. Like he wasn't gonna dance away from Mike Tyson.
No,
Mike Tyson was going to take it to
he's going to
him.
leave that ring with no ears.
Exactly. He's going to take it.
Mike Tyson, the Cane Corso. He wasn't a pit bull.
Yeah, he
was
a
a
beast,
Cane Corso, man. Listen, he was an animal, bro.
Yeah,
and even in the weight class that Floyd Mayweather fought, the facts are that what really puts
hello.
Yeah, what puts an asterisk really on Floyd Mayweather?
Can I ask just one more question? Just one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Do you got to be a heavyweight to be the greatest? Because everybody y'all name is heavyweights. Why do you got to be?
No, it's not. I just named. I named Julio Cesar Chavez.
I know you said
he was not a heavyweight,
but you said greatest boxer.
The greatest boxer ever was Muhammad Ali in any class.
And any that too is how exciting Tyson was. Tyson was, his switch was as fast as a lightweight.
Tyson.
Well, if you recall at the height of Tyson's career,
the case for best.
At the height of Tyson's career, man, people literally started getting pissed at him because he was knocking people out within seconds of the first round.
Yeah,
and they were tired of the money.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's what I'm saying though. Like
Floyd Mayweather, he can't be the best right? Because he didn't fight the best boxer. He didn't fight the best fighter.
Could be the number one, right? But as far as when it, like you said, you put it in two parts. As far as boxing, Floyd has a chance to be the top.
No, sir.
Yes, because
Mayweather's kind of like an industry plant.
If you look at the way he fights,
I'm telling you that it's not true.
Muhammad took a lot of hits. Like he did a lot of stuff. He fought a lot of fights.
Yeah, and they still couldn't break his jaw.
Listen to what I'm saying. Floyd Mayweather was a good defensive boxer. All right, but Floyd Mayweather
didn't lose.
Yeah. Oh, he lost. Oh, he lost.
No, on the record, it's
we ain't talking about on the record. Hey, look, I challenge everybody to go watch Madonna Mayweather 1, and I promise you, Floyd.
And what did the scorecard say?
Listen, we ain't talking about the scorecard. Everybody knows that fighters can be bought. Everybody know that matches can be bought. Everybody knows that boxing can be a dirty industry. That man got his ass whooped that night,
and that man took an L.
Look, it sounds good. Listen, it sounds good, and it sounds good, and it sounds right. But if you a boxing fan and you watch that fight, there's no way he won the fight. We know that he was given the fight, and it's all good. He came back, he cleaned it up.
But it doesn't matter. But that's what I'm saying, though. What you're saying is like in the game, complication things happen. Sports.
No. I'm not going there. What I'm saying is he got beat, and he didn't fight the best. He didn't fight the best
at his time.
I'm sorry, Snowman. Muhammad Ali got his jaw broken by Ken Norton.
Yes, he did. He got his jaw broken by Joe Frazier also.
He fought all the champions of his time.
I'm gonna say this now. I don't care how old you are as a boxer. If you can't knock out a YouTuber, there's something wrong with you,
bro.
He did. You didn't see him hold him up.
Look, I'll go this far and say that Bernard Hopkins.
That's a sparring match.
Bernard Hopkins will go down in history as a great fighter simply because of how he came in the game and what he did. He fought the top contenders in every weight class that he was in.
Yes.
Listen, but what
like
Floyd,
it was like
hold on, brother. Hold on, nephew. Hold on, nephew.
From like
No,
okay,
hold on, nephew. I'm trying to make a point. Hold on.
like,
Nephew.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
Floyd Mayweather did not unify any title, any weight class. You know why? You know why he didn't unify the titles? Because he would not fight Manny Pacquiao.
He fought him though. And
man, he fought him at the end of his career.
It doesn't matter. He fought.
Listen to what I'm saying. He didn't fight him. Listen, he didn't fight him as a super lightweight. He didn't fight him as a lightweight. He didn't fight him as a junior welterweight. He didn't fight him as a welterweight.
But
he waited until the man.
Hey, you know what? If I can, real quick, imagine if no, because I want to take it back to something else real quick, and then you can have it, brother. I promise it's gonna be real fast. Just imagine if your nephew and his friends put this much passion into the things we were talking about before and fixing the nation.
That would be dope.
That would be sick.
That would be dope.
I'm going to throw a name in there too, because nobody's talking about it. And I know he's not the best, but he's damn up there, is Joe Louis.
Oh, hell yeah. Joe Lewis is there. That's one
For
of the
sure.
greatest.
He ain't the best, but he's
Julio Cesar Chavez had 88 fights. I mean, Sugar Ray Robinson had 88 fights before he ever lost.
Does it? So you're saying it takes somebody to fight a bunch of fights in a row?
No. You clearly don't know who Sugar Ray Robinson was in the ring with. You clearly don't know the history of Sugar Ray. Sugar B. Ray Robinson. I mean, look, Sugar Ray Robinson. You know, Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard was a better boxer.
Name 10 Hall of Famers from that era.
Sugar Ray Leonard was a better fighter than Floyd Mayweather.
That question.
What's the question?
Are there 10 Hall of Famers from that era?
Yes, sir. Matter of fact, there are more Hall of Famers doing Sugar Ray Leonard's era than there ever would be doing Floyd Mayweather. I can name more fighters that Sugar Ray Leonard got in the ring with that Floyd Mayweather would have got destroyed by. Roberto Duran, Marvin Hagler, Machine Gun Kelly, we talking guys that terrible Terry Norris.
Who the fuck?
MGK couldn't beat
Larry
himself
Holmes,
out of
Roy
Whip
Jones
Bag.
Jr.
Who's that? Conversation.
That was me.
Get out of here. Hey, thanks for coming up, though, nephew.
Of course, no problem.
I'm all in. I got a question for you before you go.
But he has to say,
Hey, if I sent your uncle some pocket constitutions for you and your homeboys, and he gave them to you, would you guys read them?
You said what?
Repeat yourself.
I said if I sent your uncle some pocket constitutions for him to give to you and your buddies, would you guys read them and study them?
For sure.
Well, we gonna make that happen. I got a question for you. Alexander Usyk and the Gypsy King, who wins and why? Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk, who wins? And you can hear a rat piss on cotton. You must not know who Alexander Usyk is. He just beat Anthony Joshua twice. Took the man belt.
All right, so look. All right.
Hey,
so
pocket constitutions
and the pocket constitution.
He just really need to say his piece, and then we out.
I buy them every month and give them away.
He got the floor. Tell him he got the floor.
Okay. So y'all say this and that. He didn't unify this and that. You know, he's a 4-time world champion, 8 years. That dang near was never done. You know, you say he waited too long to fight Pacquiao, but y'all don't know.
Roy Jones did it.
Mid 2000s, he told Pacquiao to take the blood and urine test, and Pacquiao didn't agree to it.
Because they don't have to.
Find out he was on steroids.
He didn't find out he was on steroids. That was a rumor. That was a rumor. It was never proven. Speak facts or don't speak at all. That was a rumor. Nobody ever proved that. No, they didn't. Because see, what you don't understand about what you don't know clearly about boxing is that you have to take a urine screen 24 hours before the fight, and you have to take a urine screen right after the fight.
Then y'all talk about Canelo. Canelo was too young or this and that. You know, Floyd was 36. He was 23. But Canelo was in his prime. Look what he did. Y'all say Julio Cesar Chavez was better than him, but then Oscar De La Hoya beat him. Look what Floyd did to him.
The man was 80 years old.
Okay.
Stop.
Stop. Well, look what he did to Oscar De La Hoya. Y'all said Julio Cesar Chavez.
What you mean? He didn't do nothing to Oscar.
Fight. You said the Madonna fight. Look
I
what he
did.
did to Madonna. He outboxed him just because
The second fight he did it. What happened in the first fight? What happened in the first
He
fight?
hasn't fought nobody.
What happened in the first fight?
Don't know who
look.
Janelle Hernandez
Hey, look,
is.
just don't look. Don't be one of them guys that just keep look. Hey, brother. Don't be one of them guys that talk and don't listen. Come on, don't be one of them guys that do a lot of talking and don't listen and don't allow dialogue. All right, a lot of the stuff that you're saying, you taking out of context. You taking it out of context. Floyd Mayweather did not unify the titles because he did not want to fight a prime Pac-Man. Pac-Man would
have fought the number one fighters of his time.
Name 3 number 1 fighters he fought. I'm gonna put you to the test. Name 3 number 1 fighters that he fought. Name 3 of them.
Diego Corrales and
Whoa. Hey, if you ever say Arturo Gatti was a top fighter, brother, you don't know boxing.
You don't know boxing because at that time he moved up to 147. They had Arturo Gatti beaten him. What he did, Arturo Gatti? Come on.
Hey, bro. Hey, what was Arturo Gotti's record? Come on, man. Stop. Everybody know Arturo Gatti wasn't no fighter.
Dude, why are you getting so emotional over a discussion about boxing?
I can tell you why he's getting so emotional. He thinks he's right, and I respect it.
Arturo Gatti was 40-9.
Arturo Gatti was a good fighter, but Arturo Gatti didn't fight nobody.
Put it in the chat. I want to put the records in the Hall of Fame.
Arturo Gatti was 40 wins and 9 losses.
Listen. Name 10 people that Arturo Gatti fought that were number 1 contenders or champions. Or champions.
So what about Janelle Hernandez? Y'all don't
What
remember
about him?
Back in 1998 when he fought for his first world title? Y'all don't remember Angel Manfredi? So he wasn't a good contender?
Man, Angel Manfredi was a bum, bro. He was a bum. I like Angel, but he was a bum.
That was who Floyd looked up to.
He was a bum. I don't care if he looked up to him or not. He was a bum.
Everything is this is crazy.
Hey, but anyway, thanks for the call in. We can always talk boxing. Matter of fact, I told you we should just do a boxing segment. We should have a boxing podcast. We should be doing this. We should be doing this. We live right now. We should be doing this. All right, but think about it.
I want to say, I appreciate y'all. You know, we do get emotional about sports and stuff. You know,
we love sports.
Yeah, we love this stuff. So,
but the Lakers some trash. Get out of here.
Yeah.
I love you, boy. I'll holler at you later.
All right, man. Y'all be easy.
Right. Oh, gotta love the kids. Oh, boxing. Love boxing.
I really don't watch sports.
I know that was off, but we're gonna get them pocket constitutions. They out in South Carolina. They at Allen University, the HBCU. My nephew's there on a basketball scholarship. He's a hooper.
You know what we ought to do, Greg, is maybe 1 month, one of these months, pick a month. What is this? September?
Yep.
Maybe October or maybe the beginning of November, because I order about 30 or 40 of these a month to hand out. And what do you think about the idea of just waiting and holding on to these, and maybe in November, me and you both go into that college and sit and handing them out together and sitting and having a discussion with some of these kids?
I need to get me one of them. Where do you get those out?
I'm about it, brother.
You know, because then we could actually sit and we could live stream it too, like sitting there having a discussion with kids that need to know this stuff, and then giving them the information, you know, because that's what I usually do. I usually walk downtown in the city and I'll just hand them out to people.
Snowman, what website did you get those from?
I was about to ask.
Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah,
you can get them for a buck a piece on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, man, I get them for free from the John Birch Society, man. I mean, they're all into giving out the Constitution.
Yeah, but the thing is you can wait. You'll end up waiting forever to get them for free from somewhere, dude. I don't have. Look, be quite honest with you, for a buck for a pocket Constitution,
it don't cost you nothing for real.
You know, and the Declaration of Independence in it, dude. I have no problem spending $1 on making sure that our future is versed in the way of civics like they should be. Because this right here is where civics starts.
Yes, I agree with you. All right. So look, man, I know that conversation went crazy. I probably should have did that. That's my nephew. I ain't seen him in a minute, so I had to get him up here.
Oh, that's all good. I ain't mad at you.
I think man, this has been a really good live stream. It's really good information. Love the dialogue. I mean, salute to the chat. Salute to the panel. Everybody, man. This has just been epic. Make sure you guys like and share this daggone video right here. Why I still got Butterbean up there? Like, what the
Yeah,
crazy.
if anybody is out there, if you haven't yet, man, go check out my channels, man. I got two,
Yeah,
main
check
ones.
out Snowman. Check out the Angry Conservative. This is one of the busiest.
Not
guys.
me though. I'm the worst.
We're coming to see you too, man. We're coming to see you too. Definitely go check out Fetter's channel. If you're here and haven't gone over to Breaking Fetters, go over there, man. Show the brother some love. Give him a sub. And
I'm just
check
starting
out
out, but good shit's coming.
And we're gonna work on it. I mean, I'm true to what I say. I don't ask people for money to do what I do on for YouTube channels because I'm just down for the cause.
I do. I'm not going to lie, man. I need weed funds. I'm just saying, man. I need them green sticky nuggets, and they don't come. They aren't free.
Yeah, they're not free, man. If you do donate, for the cause, man, and you can. You can donate to either one of our channels if you want to, and just be a blessing to us. I'd appreciate it. If you want to donate here, that's how you go. Make sure you guys, put your Cash App out there in the chat, man, because
it's already my name.
though it's not about the money. It takes money. The equipment that we get. Like I'm really trying to build a state-of-the-art studio. I really am, and I work hard for this, man. But we appreciate whatever happens. And again, any content creator that's in that chat, that's on this panel, and you want to get some graphic work done, Real Greg Kelly Show at Gmail. Hit me up, man.
You already know, Greg.
Everything that I can do to help you, I would definitely do it.
I sent you an email about 10 minutes ago.
Oh yeah.
C-Files, I would do that, but Indiana's where I live it's a zero tolerance state, and I got kids, and not trying to get them taken away.
I get it,
especially for growing.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah. Shout out to the brother. What is it? Footloose. Shout out to Footloose. 757.
Everybody cut loose. Footloose.
The brother funny as hell, man. He hit me with something last night, had me in tears. Had me in
got what I need.
Hey, Greg.
Get back.
What kind of boards do you think is efficient for just like an XLR mic and just the setup that I got?
I use the Rodecaster Pro.
Okay.
I've already ordered the Rodecaster Pro 2. Well, I haven't ordered it. I'm lying. I'm about to order the Rodecaster 2. But the MGX10 Yamaha is what I had before. I sold it to a brother, but I love that. It's not expensive, but man, you get like 16 channels. You get sound effects. You can control.
Is that like a MIDI key thing?
No,
like
no.
Stream Deck type deal?
No. It's an actual soundboard. The
MG hook up to a laptop.
It's like what I got, man. I got a Barrett.
Yeah, brother. I was running the. It's compatible. It runs USB, but it's XLR.
Yeah, I got a Barrett.
I gotta get something, bro. I gotta get me a soundboard and XLR mic.
Check out the Yamaha, man. I'll send you the info later on.
Dude, my very first mixer was a Yamaha.
Could you include that in my email too that I sent you? Because all I did is like a month and a half ago, I went out and bought a laptop and a Blue Yeti mic, and I've been running with that.
Oh, yeah, dude,
the Blue Yeti good.
I hate Yetis.
I like the Shure mics. That's why I have an SM.
That's what I want.
I got a podcaster mic. I can't afford a Shure mic right now, man.
I've been recording on Shure mics my whole music career, but at the same time, I just I don't know. The Blue Yeti had everything I wanted it for. So
check this out. That Rode mic, those Rode mics are killer, man. They
actually are.
I actually like them. So look, Footloose told me to tell y'all what he said to me last night. Look, this guy is crazy, man. All right, I'm gonna read these text messages to you.
He texted me too. He's a good dude.
As a nutcase, man. I was trying to feel sorry for the guy. He wouldn't even let me. So
sounds like my kind of people.
Yeah. So look, he said, look, I hit him up. I was like, okay, Footloose. Yeah, he's actually close to me. And
oh yeah, that's right. You told me about that
That's
today.
what he was saying.
Everybody cut.
all right, so this is what he said. He told me that he told me where it was. I'm not gonna put that out there. I told him, sweet man, I'm starving for people that's in my area that want to get down. And
Behind you.
he said, nice things. I said, you crazy, boy. Footloose. I said, I'm glad you're having good feelings. He told me that he got his leg cut off. And then he said, thanks. I told my doctor before he amputated my leg that I was going to request the song Footloose on the radio after I got out of surgery.
Hey man, you gotta love a dude who's got a sense of humor about his own shit.
Now that
man, I couldn't take it, man. He said he was gonna request the song Footloose, and he said that's where he came up with the tag. You know what I'm saying, Footloose, because he's cut his legs going from the knee down. I was like, wow, this guy is crazy as hell, man.
I would sit here and tell my story how I almost lost mine, but then I look at the panel and I'm like, I got nothing to say.
Hey, dude, I was just curious. I'm surprised that with that he didn't turn around, take it to a taxidermist, and turn it into that fucking leg from the Christmas
a lamp, the fucking lamp from Christmas Story.
Yeah,
Fragile must be Italian.
I won't say what I've done, but what one of my old prosthetics actually is right now.
Oh my god!
Even though I don't have it in this, I don't have it with me right now.
I tell people you lost it playing chicken with a train, and then call yourself Derail. That'd be sick.
Derail.
What's up, Derail?
What's up, Derail?
Woo woo.
Nah, if it was me, I'd say I lost it. I lost it in a freak sex accident.
Hey, look,
guy.
You know how some women like to be, fisted. Yeah.
Well, this was a guy.
Yeah, and it got stuck. Stuck.
Oh Lord. Hey, y'all remember
because it was Mr. T and he was gay.
Hey, look, do you remember that movie? I'm gonna get you, sucker.
Hell yeah, with his toe.
Yeah.
No, not the toe. It's when he was with that chick and she pulled her leg off.
Oh my god, she pulled her wig off and shit.
Her butt off.
These ain't real either.
Man. And she was hopping around on one leg. So come here, baby. Come here, baby.
12 inches.
Yeah, boy.
If one of the guys that is subscribed to my channel was here, he would call me IHOP.
Oh my god!
I'd call you Gyro Duck, but
International House of
reference.
No, I hop whenever I walk. I got one leg. I hop.
I figured it was International House of Pookies.
Dude, I'm gonna get you sucker. The Jim Brown toe is the funniest part of that movie.
Oh, the Jim Brown toe is.
Oh my god,
it's epic, bro. It's epic. Listen, we're gonna shut it down. I gotta get my sleep, you guys. Listen, before we do, everybody get a closing remark. Doesn't have to be on topic, it can be off topic. And we're gonna start with AC and work our way to Fetters. Then we're gonna go to Forge and Thought. Then we're gonna hit the Snowman, and then I'm gonna close it out. AC, last words.
Share this out. Tell people about this because people need to know the damn truth. What Greg shared tonight, what we've talked about tonight is all truth. It can be backed up with the videos that we shared. And Greg, thank you for a great night. Thank you for the laughs, everybody on this panel. Thank you for helping my brother out because I've enjoyed this so much. And thank you, Greg, for letting me come up.
No doubt, brother. You're welcome anytime.
Who's up, me?
Fetters, you up next, brother.
All right. Yeah. Hey, thank you, Greg. Me and Greg have been talking, and we're gonna do some big things, man. We're gonna make this happen, and I really enjoyed the conversation tonight and the conversations we've been having over on my channel. It was a pleasure having you over there the other day, and it always boils back down to our children, and I'm gonna close it with this. Those are our future, and everything we have talked about tonight, everything that we've talked about on my channel, and just it all boils down to the future of our fucking children. Period. Their future. And we have to protect our children. We have to protect the future of this great nation. And we have to do so by being active. and we got to do our part. And that's all I got to say. Thank you guys. I had a great time up here tonight talking to you guys. Great live, and shout out to everybody in the chat.
Shout out, raw. All right, Forging Thought, you up next.
Never hide what's on your mind. Whatever you're thinking, if you got something to say it twice. If everybody had what was on their mind out on the table for the world to see, so that bullshit could be sorted immediately instead of all the sugarcoating shit, all the nonsense where people are trying to hide what they feel. No, get it out there so you can fucking build a bridge over it and get over it. You can't have this country move forward the way it's been, where politics, reasoning, all that shit has been delegated by feelings and emotions and fucking little bits of white lies trying to save people's feelings. No. Fuck feelings. Let's get the facts out so we can fucking deal with it. If you got something to say it twice.
Amen to that.
Here.
Indeed.
And Footloose, you definitely can do that, brother. All right, Snowman, you next, brother.
Well, first off, I want to go ahead and shout out to you too, C-Fouls. No harm, no foul, man. No harm, no foul. But I don't take anything personal. I really don't. So you ain't got to worry about it, man. You know, actually, you can ask Fetty. I had more fun with you getting triggered on me than you realize, because it got to a point to where I just started having fun with you. At your own expense, but
I didn't have pants on the whole time.
I didn't either, man. I was sitting in my underwear the whole time. But look, dude, I'm gonna put it like this. All right. I remember that back when Clinton, or when you know, crooked Hillary and Mr. Trump were running, how and even before that, when Obama was president in this country, how the nation started getting almost to like a fever pitch about whether or not our rights were going to be taken, whether or not we were going to actually be free peoples anymore, whether or not, you know, we were going to start seeing some of the things people were talking about. You know, I remember seeing men, you know, get together, you know, the militia movement rose up, you know, people were out there educating, using social media to, you know, try and get the good word out, get people to understand what was going on. You know, I remember hearing people, and myself included was one of these, that I always said that if, you know, Hillary Clinton would have got elected, that was an act of war against the American people, because she's a criminal and no criminal should ever be running this country. But what bothered me was the day after Trump got elected, all these same people took a sigh of relief. They took off all their gear. They put it in the closet. They took off. They put their arms down. They leaned them up in the corner in the house, and they sat down, started watching football, drinking beer, and forgot about everything that they stood for prior to that, as if the country still wasn't at harm of being taken. That just because one man came in, that now we were safe, that everything was okay. And I would really like to see people in this country, especially people that claim to understand the nature of what's going on, that claim to have an awareness of what we stand to lose, and want to try and leave our children with at least some kind of a fight, you know, an opportunity to pick up the pieces when we aren't here to fight no more. I would like to see those people, you know, these people stop just putting arms down and just getting in a place of complacency just because their team won. I'm tired of politics being like watching sports. Tired of it, because this ain't sports. These are people's lives. This is people's lives that we're talking about. This ain't, you know, football or basketball. This is the future. This is our nation. You know, and now it's gotten to the point to where we literally have people openly confessing what they're doing to our kids. Openly. It's coming out every day on TikTok and Twitter and every other platform of these just sick, twisted individuals taking our children and doing whatever they damn well see fit with them. But nobody's getting up. Nobody's rising. What's it going to take, folks? What's it going to take for America to finally say enough's enough? Because look, they've been moving that line in the sand closer and closer and closer. And if you wait until that line's at your front door, you've waited too long.
I agree.
You know, I'm just saying, be more vigilant. Stop being so complacent. You know, I understand that we all sit back and think I'm only one person, but there's another person that's sitting down the road from you that's saying that's thinking the same thing. And if all these I'm only one persons would actually start communicating with each other, you would be more than one person. You'd be a force to be reckoned with. Stop worrying about the Fed. Worry about your community. You know, stop partaking in that whole federal bullshit. It doesn't matter. What matters is what's going on in your local town. Start there first, because you're never going to get to the head of the dragon if you don't at least take care of all the shit that's in the way first. That's all I got, man.
Here.
Hear ye.
Oh, well, I will say, dude, great stream tonight, Mr. Kelly.
Oh, brother, thank you, man. You made it happen with me, brother. And everybody on the channel and chat, man, you guys have been awesome tonight, and I appreciate it. My closing remarks. I want everybody to know, from the bottom of my heart, when I say I love you, I mean it. I love humanity. I love my brothers. I love my sisters, and it doesn't have anything to do with the color of your skin. We are really in this together.
We're all the human race.
There's only one race, and that's the human race. No doubt, Forge and Thought. There's only one race, and that's the fact that our blood bleeds red and we breathe oxygen, and we were put here by our Creator.
Facts.
And I don't believe that we were put here by our Creator to be at war with each other. However, we do know that there is a time for war once the enemy has been identified. The enemy has been identified. There are no more mistakes to be made when it comes to the identification of those that hate this country and want to see us burn in it. But I believe in the spirit of America. I believe in the fighting spirit. Modelo.
Find out.
Modelo. All right, Modelo, the fighting spirit. We will go to war for what we believe in, and we'll go to war in many forms. This is our form of war here today. We get on this panel, we talk, we tell the truth, we share we exercise our First Amendment, and we have like-minded brothers and sisters that are in here with us, that stand with us, and we stand with them also. And what I really love about what we're doing here is that, the stories that are being told, should I say the stories that aren't being told, is that, we've all been at odds with each other, but yet we're still together. And let that be our mantra going forward. We don't always have to agree. What we do here is bigger than us. It's about us, but it's bigger than us. What we're doing here sets the stage for future generations to not be afraid to speak their minds. Just as Snowman said, just as Forge and Thought said, no matter what goes on, don't ever take the knee and be silent. Being silent in a time like this is a greater crime that's being committed against us. It's because we're allowing it to happen. And if we sit on our asses and don't say a word, we deserve everything we get. But let's be reminded of those that shed their blood for this country, laid their lives down, gave everything they had, that we could be here today on YouTube, speaking our minds, under all kinds of pressures, facing all kinds of tyranny. But we can do it fearlessly, we can do it boldly, and we can all stand together and say, I love America. And it's for America I live. It's for America I die. We're reporting out of the cockpit. Brothers, if I ask you to mute your mic, we're going to go out. Y'all can stick back for a minute so we can have our own closing remarks. Everybody mute up. I just want to tell everybody in the chat that we are here for you. We're here for you. We know you're here for us. We're going to keep standing. We're going to continue to speak our minds. We're going to continue to do what we're doing. We're going to build. We're going to do more than what we're doing right now. And if anybody wants to get involved, get involved. You know, we're here to help, you know, streamers, you know, cultivate a presence on YouTube. I thank Fetty for, you know, bringing me into his circle, you know, even after the fact that we had a great fallout. None of that matters. What matters is we believe the same things and we're here for the same reason. I tell you what, there's no greater pleasure than being up here with these men that I call my brothers. There's no greater pleasure than being amongst people that are in this chat, standing up, showing your support for freedom-loving Americans. There's nothing we can't overcome. There's nothing we can't accomplish if we stay together. And if you have any differences with anybody that's in these rooms, in this room right here, make it right. Make it right. Come back together and make it right. Let's stick together, y'all. And y'all know I like to play this Go song because it says, even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel like there's no hope, you can still go. Even though you think you're broke, you can still go. Even when it feels like there's nothing in the tank, there's nothing left, you don't have any more drive, you're depleted, you're depressed, go forward. Keep going forward. And if you need some help, call your brothers, call your sisters. We here for each other. Shout out to my immediate family. Sugar Baby, y'all know that's my heart. Nick, Taylor, Brooke, AC, Fetty, Snowman, Forging Thought, C-Files. All of you, man. That's how I see you. It's family. We're going to go ahead. We're going to shut it down. And remember this. If we don't speak the truth, we will die as slaves. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight, man. Thanks for coming. Thanks for all the love in the chat. Thank you. We will see you next time. We're going to have another banger. Another banger. If we do not speak the truth, we will die as slaves. Thank you guys for watching tonight. I hope you enjoyed this. We enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why they say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst I say and turn them to a game. Take the bad best thoughts saying, put them on display, on repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more.